Yo, guys, what's up, and welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. This is episode 135. Tonight on the cast is myself, Finto, and Alex, aka Zaberwolf. We're going to be talking about The Acolyte, episodes 1 to 3, and The Boys, season 4, episodes 1 to 3, and any other nerdy news in between. If you're new to the channel, make sure you drop a subscription, leave a comment below if you're watching a replay, and smash like on the video as well. Without further ado, here we go. Hello there.
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
What's up? How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just trying out like some different setups on my end. I actually have the camera pointed this way, but I could see you over here.
Okay.
So it's gonna be so
Like we're looking at each other.
yeah, in a sense, like I could look over here and I'm like, okay, well, I'm talking to you now.
Yeah. Yeah, my camera's kind of straight ahead, but it's a little up. It's a little ahead, like above me, so I have it kind of pointing down a tiny bit. It's the only way
Yeah.
it'll work with the desk that I have. But yeah, cool. Happy days. How was the week or the 2 weeks? We haven't spoken 2 weeks, so we have a good bit to catch up on. How you been?
I've been all right. Just a lot of work to do. Was on call the 2 weeks ago, and it was a bit stressful. You know, we had a merger essentially, like with a different team, and so they're kind of under our wing now, but
Right.
they're also but their original lead is now our lead. So like he's kind of taking the reins, and it's just we got a quick kind of like knowledge transfer of everything, and essentially I was kind of one of the first guinea pigs in the on-call round where everything is basically on me now. Like when they post in a certain channel, I now have to respond in kind, and
Yeah.
it's a it's a crazy situation because it's like I only know this stuff this well.
Yeah.
This new stuff, it's literally like you taught me within a week.
Right.
So like it's bananas, dude. But I think I'm getting the hang of it. I'm learning it pretty quickly, so I'm really excited to get into the nitty gritty of things. It sounds like they're decommissioning a few things anyway.
Nice. Nice.
Additionally, I've actually been editing in the background because I've been thinking about it, and I think I should get back into streaming a little bit here and there. So I think I'm gonna maybe try to do a little bit of part-time, maybe just maybe like a few hours a day. Um, so I've just been working on alerts. I need to change up like new startup screens, ending screens, and whatnot. And I'm not great at that. I use pretty standard stuff. So like in the future, I might seek out a bit more if I'm really interested in like expanding or something. Um,
Yeah. Just go
but
on to like Fiverr.com or something, just pay someone to do it for you.
yeah,
Like
like I said,
the artists are cheap and they're great. Like they do so much work. So it's like, do you know what I mean? Like you can just tell them your ideas and they'll fire it out so quick. Like I had a guy on Fiverr like do all my animations and shit for my gaming channel, and like he was done in a day, like less than a day. Like he
yeah,
messaged me and was like, I'm starting your work now. And then I was kind of chatting to him for like an hour as he was working. And he's like, how's this? And I was like, oh my God, that's unbelievable. Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, they're so quick. Like they do, obviously it's what they do all the time. So yeah,
yeah,
that's what I would do now personally, but I'm not very artistic. So I'm always looking to hire out that kind of work, you know?
yeah. I would say I'm creative, but I am definitely not artistic. I can't. You like I can think about it in my head, but it's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
come out as a stick figure.
Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of like that with music and stuff. I kind of think like, oh, in my head, I can like, I have all these amazing ideas in my head, but I can't get them like out, you know?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but the one thing that I have been able to get out is alerts. Like I've been learning how to clip and like cut and mix in different things together in order to string up like a really nice looking alert. Make it like one to one. It looks clean as hell. It's not like this looping situation where it's constantly like
Yeah.
kind of throwing you off on the immersion of it. Like um and recently I actually like made a 10 GIF sub alert, which like I don't expect anyone to ever hit that fucking thing, but if they do, they're in for a treat. It's like a minute long.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
So
epic.
like yeah, I'm excited. If that ever pops up, I will be so fucking happy. Like it is just
Yeah, well, anyone who's listening right now, I presume that you're talking about your Twitch channel, yeah?
Mhm.
Go follow Zaberwolf
Yeah,
underscore X on
you could see
Twitch.
it like right here. I think I'm pointing right there.
Yeah.
right down there.
I have all the link. I have all the links in the description anyway on the episode. So
Oh yeah, you do.
follow the links. Yeah. Self promo. Let's go. Do you have any idea what games you're gonna play?
Well, I need to catch up on Elden Ring,
Hmm.
so I'm going to be starting up on that. I need to make sure I'm ready to go for Shadow of the Erd Tree, which is coming out I think Thursday at like 6 p.m.
Hmm.
It's like it's an early, like a pretty early release. Like I'm really excited about it. Although I did physically order the collector's edition for Steam, so like hopefully it shows up in time and I can
Hmm.
play it on the day. But if not, that's fine. I
Yeah.
can continue to like work on my character or something that'll give me some extra time. It's not going anywhere, but I am very much excited to play it. And there are a few other games that I need to finish. I might even start over on a few games that I had played in the past, like on stream, and
Yeah.
just kind of like just freshen myself up. And um, but in terms of like, I prefer to be a variety streamer, but there are a few games that I was thinking that maybe I should try to get into, like just on a constant basis, so that like
Hmm.
people know like, okay, so well this is the guy that does this, and then later on he plays like a different game.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the synopsis of like what like small streamers should do. You should try and build a core audience around a game. For me, it was Fortnite, and then I moved into like Call of Duty and Dead by Daylight for a little while at the start, and kind of built up a good following for those three titles. Now it's just kind of Fortnite, and then whatever variety games I want. I kind of just when I first started streaming, I was like, in my head, I thought, oh, if I do this for like a year or two, I'm definitely gonna like be able to get partner or whatever. And then I just slowly realized how fucking hard that actually is to do. So
Oh
I
yeah.
was I was just like, okay, let's just forget about this. I'm just doing this to have fun. And like to be honest, I've been streaming like actually coming up in the next couple of weeks, it's gonna be like my 5-year stream anniversary. Like it's crazy.
Nice.
Um so yeah, I'm gonna do like a YouTube video for that, like kind of best of the last 5 years and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just kind of stopped giving a shit. I've got like a really nice, like kind of small little community over on Twitch, and some like ride or die people that will just come and watch me no matter what I'm playing, and
Yeah.
that's all I really care about. Like some people to have fun with, and then on Fridays I do like a community night where I'll play games. So like usually Fortnite, I'll play games with the community and stuff. So like we have a good laugh. Like, but I'm doing Mass Effect at the moment, and that's what I'm kind of playing in my variety slots. So I've never played Mass Effect in my life, never even watched like any of it or anything. So I don't know. I'm literally experiencing the story for the first time, which is quite miraculous considering the first game was made in like 2007. So
I
I'm
know.
like, for me, it's like
Real.
zero spoilers, nothing. Like I have no idea what's going on. So that's been kind of fun, and I'm playing it on PC, and it recently got a remaster, I think, a couple of years ago. So it looks really good. Like it's really good. I'm very impressed by it. So I'll probably play the three of those games. I have like I'm playing it off Xbox Game Pass and a little bit of Fortnite here and there. But other than that, it's just kind of business as usual on the stream. But yeah, man, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll try. I know our time zones are fucking shitty, so I'll try my best to kind of be there as much as I can. Usually, I remember when you used to stream a good bit, I'd actually be up and travel to work, and I'd be sitting in the office, and I'd be like, get a notification that you're online. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, he's coming online
Yeah.
now. I'm like, I'm working now. So I try to leave a lurk on whenever I can. So yeah, guys, if anybody is a Twitch head, go over and follow Alex on Twitch.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate it. And and
and
and
follow him on
again,
YouTube
like
as
I'm
well.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be posting things frequently on YouTube. I think I just want to kind of
Yeah.
work on stuff like for Twitch. But if people start requesting for some reason, and they
Well, like,
they want to see like VODs or whatnot, then I might start posting stuff. But for now, I
just
just want to kind of just have fun with it.
you could just download your VODs from Twitch and just upload them straight to YouTube. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
what a
could
lot of
do
people
that.
do. Yeah.
I was thinking like I could at least make like a VOD channel,
Yeah.
throw it in there, and just be happy
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. A lot of people do that. I've started doing like multi-streaming on like Fridays when I'm doing my Fortnite stream. I'll
Hmm.
like do like a vertical mobile kind of vertical stream on YouTube as well at the same time as I'm live on Twitch.
Yeah,
And like it's really good. Like, like I'll go live and I might get like maybe 10 or 12 new subscribers on YouTube, like so, which is really good. Like so.
that's really cool.
I'll definitely be keeping it up. Yeah, it's a kind of like an untapped kind of market at the moment, like the vertical streaming on YouTube. So it's kind of unsaturated right now, but fingers crossed it stays that way. But we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see. Yeah, I have a few COD friends who are doing very well at it. Averaging like 500-600 views a stream and all. Crazy, crazy stuff. Anyway, let's get into the nerdy shit. We've been live for 10 minutes. Uh, um, this week, we're going to be talking about The Acolyte, episodes 1 to 3, because we weren't live last week, so we haven't spoke about the show at all. I did a kind of, there's a clip up on this channel, which was kind of taken from my live stream. My chat was asking me what I thought of the first 2 episodes. Like, it was like fresh out of my mind. I'd only just watched them the day before, so I kind of put my initial thoughts up there. You can go and watch that video if you want. I don't know if my view has changed too much, but maybe it has. I don't know. Episode 3 kind of shook me to my core, but we'll get into that. Also, we have The Boys episodes 1 to 3 of season 4, and we'll kind of just maybe just bounce some kind of nerdy news off each other at the end.
Yeah, and that shook me to my core.
Yeah, it's good, bro. It's good. We'll get into it. I'd say we'll probably have a good solid half an hour on each topic. So, let's start with The Acolyte. I kind of want to get the worst out of the way, if I'm being honest. I know you're not a big Star Wars fan, so I'm just curious, before I kind of go probably way too nerdy and maybe offend some people who might be listening, what do you think of The Acolyte as a kind of normie fan?
Excuse me. I really, really gave it a shot. I really did. I really was like, you know what? Maybe it's something interesting. It's going to be something in the past. It's not necessarily touching anything within the episodes one through three or anything of the sort. It just felt like maybe they'll have something interesting to work on. Maybe they'll just have like a story between the Jedis and the Sith or something. And it just started going in a weird path that didn't make sense to me. It felt unoriginal. It felt very, very like overdone. Like it just had this feeling of like, yeah, we want to get rid of people for no reason. Very
You're,
quickly
you're,
as
you're
well.
talking you're talking about the assassinations of the Jedi Masters, are you?
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, like for people that you've just met, like it seems like they really want to just toss people away as quickly as possible, just to make like an exciting moment for the story, which at the most was like lackluster. And I'm
It's ridiculous, bro. Like, just
yeah,
to bounce off what you're saying very quickly before you jump into something else, but like, honestly, yes, like that is it's shocking to me. Like, Carrie Ann Moss's character, she dies within the first 3 minutes of the show. Spoiler warning to anybody who hasn't seen it, but you know what I mean? Like, the show starts off, fade to black or fade out of black or whatever, and it's her walking into the bar, and I'm like, oh, like this is the very start of the show. I was like, we've seen this on all the trailers, all the exclusive clips. You know what I mean? Like, they've been pumping this out for weeks, and this is the first scene that we see. And like, then obviously the fight happens. I'm like, oh yeah, this is fine. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times already. And then Carrie Ann Moss dies, and you're kind of like, what the fuck? It's like, first of all, I kind of laughed because I was like, oh, okay, yeah, obviously, maybe they're not able to pay Carrie Ann Moss enough, to keep her around for too long. So maybe they
yeah,
just kill her off quickly. But then it's even how she dies. Like, she just dies by getting like a little blade to the heart. Like, it's like, she's a Jedi Master, bro. How's a Jedi Master dying to like a little hand knife? Like, it's kind of, I don't know. Anyway, sorry, go on, continue.
well, like just to bounce off of that as well, like I would understand if she was like maybe a knight or like maybe like another apprentice or something, like someone that wasn't necessarily someone that you would feel is effective enough to be able to fight back like in full force. If it's a master, essentially, like you're telling me that minor things can be tossed at a Jedi and murder them. Which like I can't remember exactly what happened because I was just so like taken aback by it. Um, like was there something that she was trying to grab like midair and she missed the dagger, or was it just
So what May did was she threw a dagger at the bartender's face, and Carrie
uh
Ann Moss turns to stop with the force to use the force to stop the blade from killing the bartender, and then is distracted, so another blade comes and hits her then. But yes, you're absolutely right in what you're saying. Jedi Masters should be able to stop 20, 30 attacks at the one time with their eyes closed, half asleep, lying on a bed. Like, they should not be getting hit by these little tiny daggers. Like, I'm sorry. It's ridiculous.
yeah, it could have been it could have been as simple as her dodging it.
Yeah.
Even using the lightsaber to destroy it. Just a simple swipe just to make sure that it gets out of the way or like cut through it. Um, it just seemed very like underdone. It wasn't thought out well enough to be considered like a true killing of a master. It just felt like someone was like, "Hey, so this is how we kill the Jedi Master." And nobody batted an eye at the director or the story writers and was like, you fucking kidding me? Like it just seems so fucking weird, dude. Like it's like everybody that we've seen that's been such a like even the non-prodigies, they're pretty durable, they're pretty smart, and like nothing of that sort is going to kill them immediately. The most I would say is it would injure her, and then she'd be like, Jesus Christ, and then she'd fight back, of course, like and
Mm.
maybe kick her out. But like like I agree with you. It's probably just a money thing where essentially she's only paid enough to be in the first few minutes of the show, and then they
I
had to get rid of her.
That was my thought, but then she pops back into episode 3, so I'm kind of like, oh, okay, this is weird. So
True.
I don't know, like maybe she will be in more episodes of the show. Like Marvel got her to be in Jessica Jones, so I'd say she's very attainable to get for TV, but that was my thought. That was my initial thought when I saw her die straight away. I was like, "Oh Jesus!" Like I was like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, could they not afford to keep her around?" That was
Yeah.
like the way. That was what my mind was thinking watching the show, which is obviously red flag number one because like I shouldn't be sitting there thinking about this stuff while I'm getting engrossed in a brand new story, you know.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
if it had turned around that Carrie Ann Moss had been around for 3 episodes, we got to kind of see her develop, get to know the character. I don't even know her character's name. What's
Hmm.
the point in learning it? She's dead. Who cares?
Right.
So it's kind of like, what's the point? And this is the same with all of the other Jedi that have died so far. It's like, you're killing off all these guys at the start of the show when you really probably shouldn't, and again, I'm should have probably given a spoiler warning at the start of this, but I think everybody who listens knows us enough at this stage. We're going to be going very deep on this, but you know, there's a plot point which they actually ruined themselves in a trailer. But the whole evil twin thing, like
Oh yeah.
that should have been kept under wraps for probably the first 2 episodes, maybe three, and then you come in at the end of the third episode and it's like you see the evil twin for the first time, or they reveal it in some way that it's like, oh, we've actually been following two different people or something like that. You know what I mean? You put a bit of mystery to it. They're trying to claim that this is like a mystery story, but it's like very fucking obvious, and it's full of holes as well. Like Carrie Ann Moss's character, when she ran into May, would she not be like, "Hey, OG, how are you?" Like, because she was a Padawan to Saul for years, like 8 years. Like,
Hmm.
would she not know her around the temple? She'll be like, "Oh, hey, OG, how are you? How are you doing? I didn't realize you left the order. Oh, are you bad now? Do we have to kill you?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, how would you not know that it's her?
Exactly.
It's so silly, like. And then if we had seen a couple of these Jedi, maybe maybe if episode 3 was episode 1, and then you move on, you might have actually it might have made more sense as to why we see these Jedi getting hunted down. But I find it wildly unbelievable that this May, the evil twin, can just start like slaying Jedi masters. It just is ridiculous, and the
Yeah.
fact that they're Jedi masters in the first place is a bit ridiculous as well. Like the dude Torben, the guy who's like just hovering in the Force bubble for the whole thing. It's
Hmm.
like he just decides to take the poison and kill himself out of nowhere. Like it's just like the dude is like in isolation for 10 years, and in the space of a minute just like lets the force field down, grabs the poison, drinks it himself, and just dies. I'm like, what? And then when we get to episode 3, we see the flashbacks, we see everything that happens. And then at the end of the episode, I thought to myself, is that what Torben killed himself for? Like a young girl having a meltdown and burning her mountain down. Like, it's not his fault. The kid is going on a big revenge path for a fire that she started. And it's like, is this why Torben killed himself? It doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yeah.
what did
It
he do?
it just doesn't seem. It just yeah. It definitely doesn't seem plausible. There has to be some other underlying meaning to it, or I'm not sure what.
Yeah.
Um, because it seems like it's just all over the place, man. Like having the place destroyed by just a couple children, it's baffling. And to like there people are saying that it killed the entire coven at that point, which
You see them all dead on the ground. Yeah, they're all there, dead on the ground. But I've actually seen now again my first viewing of this. I'm just like, okay, she set a door on fire. The fire is spreading through stone buildings and through a stone mountain. Number one, I don't really understand how that's spreading so quickly. And then it's like within the space of 12 minutes, everybody's dead. So I was listening to somebody else break this down. I can't remember who to give credit for it, but basically they were saying like perhaps like what we saw isn't actually what happened. It's like, you know, the memories of a child, you know, the way people like you forget things wrong as a child or whatever, or you know,
mhm.
your imagination or your mind plays tricks. Like I think what potentially we saw might have been like the viewpoint of May or the viewpoint of the other girl. And I think what will probably turn out to be is that the Jedi actually slayed everybody. And it would be the only reason why it would actually make sense that she is on this big revenge path, you know? Because it's like, how does a bit of smoke kill an entire coven of witches? Would they not just walk out the front door? Like, you know what I mean? And it genuinely looks like they're all lying on the ground. It genuinely looks like they've all been poisoned or something. Like, I don't see any like lightsaber wounds or anything like that. So I don't think the Jedi came in and slayed them. But I think that maybe May poisoned them or something, or somebody poisoned them. Because I don't know. It's weird, man. Like it just doesn't add up. And I think, you know, I'm 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 talking very negatively about this show. And I think for what we've seen so far, I think, you know, and you know, just go on Twitter, just go anywhere, and you can just see the absolute like onslaught that this show is getting. Like I think it's on a 3.9 on IMDb. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is down to like a 17% or something. It's outrageous how poor this show is being received by the fans. And right now, I think yeah, they're right. Now, you know, I think there's 8 episodes total. You know, we're only 3 in. Maybe they'll turn it around. Maybe it'll make sense towards the end. I pray that it does because right now the plot is it's just terrible writing. There's like the acting's not great. The dialogue is awful as well. Like the show looks good. I think some of the scenes like that we see, like you know, some of the pans of the planets and stuff, like it seems cool. But right now, like the plot is just full of holes, like, and it's just stupid. It just doesn't make any sense. And I haven't even touched on the whole Force thing with the Coven and all, and the fact that the twins were created by the Force, like, and
Like like
I don't know what to say about this, like, you know.
dude, as I've said before, like this is completely unoriginal. They're
Yeah,
twins, which we've seen in episodes 4 through 6.
yeah,
They're they're created by the Force, which is seen as episode 1 with Anakin. Like
yeah,
this is not there's nothing original about this at all.
yeah,
Even the coven, even the witches, they're like, "Oh, it's not the sisters. It's a coven, it's a witch, it's different." It's like, "Lady, you watched Ahsoka and you decided to take that information and work towards that, like with that storyline. Nothing of this is worthwhile in terms of anything new. It's not a story that we haven't seen before. It's a story that we've seen before, but it's with different people.
yeah. It's very blatantly pushing agendas, you know, and while I try and ignore all the real world stuff, it's very hard to, especially with a show like this. You know, it's
Is
like,
there an
you know,
agenda being pushed? I didn't even care about whatever the hell they were talking about. I just wanted to know what the story was.
bro, like it's very obvious that they're pushing a whole like gay lesbian thing. You know, the director herself is a lesbian. She's an activist. Like, you know what I mean? It's very her handprints are all over this. Like, you know, the fact that she's the first story that she does for Star Wars, she creates a set of twin girls from a lesbian parent who now has just been born out of the Force. You
Was
know,
she a lesbian
all
parent? Like, was I looking at this weird?
the the twins' parents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh wait, she had parents?
yeah.
I
The
I
girl
only
with the
remember the
spikes.
parent.
No, it's the two women are the two parents.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Oh,
again,
I didn't
it's
even care. I didn't even
it's
care about that.
exactly it's irrelevant. It's not important. It's just fun. I find it funny that you know a lesbian activist director brings this storyline into Star Wars with the first thing that she does. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's a bit on the nose, like, and again, I don't give a shit. I just want good stories. I don't care who they involve. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's men, women, gay, straight. I don't care, but just give us good stories. But it's when you bring shit to the table and are also pushing agendas. It's ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? And like, even how they treat, like, I can't remember his name, the Jedi Knight in this with the dreadlocks. What's his name? Jord or something, or I can't even remember his name. But like, they treat him like he's a fucking idiot. Like, and he's like, they're like humiliating him with his top off and all, and he's like cleaning his robes, and they're just like making a joke of the character. And it's like, the dude's a Jedi Knight. Like, show some fucking respect. Like, the Padawans are all making fun of him and everything. It's like, this dude's a Jedi Knight. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, don't talk down to the Jedi Knights like that. So I don't know, man. It's just it feels really weird to me. The show feels
Y-
very weird.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm. It's hard for me to say whether or not they're effectively trying to push an agenda. I don't think they were like in my head. I didn't see that they were like effectively putting them out there and constantly making it like, oh, okay, they're just lesbians. They're lesbians. They're lesbian. Like, but I mean, maybe I just took it wrong. I don't know, but like it just
Well,
I don't know.
there's a
Like
lot.
it's a couple, like and whatnot. Like it just kind of reminded me how when people were kind of concerned about the whole Eternal situation where Fastos was essentially he was gay, like, but that's because like he was a person from another world that happened to fall in love with someone. Like it's just, I don't know. It just for stuff like that, like it doesn't necessarily bother me, and I know it doesn't bother you either. It's just I understand if like you've seen it so much that now it's like become such a kind of moment, which I totally get. I totally fucking get that. Um the only thing that I'm worried about is the fact that like they tried to make a story with like this like the setting that they wanted was not effective. Everything that they chose to work out this story just didn't matter. Like so far. I mean, who knows? Like maybe there's some underlying stuff, but like uh, breaking like the immersion, breaking lore by making it seem like Jedi are incompetent because clearly like she's young, she's not like a master at like any sort of, Jedi or Sith kind of works. It's not even Sith based. It's like rogue people. It's the witches kind of situation. It feels it's making my mind go crazy because I'm like I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
Um
I think
it,
the witch's interpretation of the Force, I can get over that because again, it's just their interpretation. Like, different religions have different interpretations of God, like that. That's fine, but
Mhm.
it's just the fact that they just so easily create life when it's known in Star Wars that like Plagueis was trying to do it for his entire life, could barely do it himself. You know, he could. They say he could save, like, this is a Palpatine speech in the third one that kind of turns Anakin. It's like, Plagueis was able to save others from life, but ironically, he couldn't save himself, which was kind of, him hinting that Palpatine killed him. And then, Palpatine is like, I don't know the secret, but we will learn it together. So, that's how he kind of manipulates Vader. And then Vader himself spends years and years and years trying to learn this power, can't do it because he wants to save the ones he loves. He wants to bring Padme back, blah, blah, blah. And it's like these lesbian witches are just able to just do it at the click of a fucking button. Like, you know what I mean? It just seems like it just seems weird to me, it kind of, not that it kind of ruins the legacy of the one, but it kind of puts a shot, like it kind of taints it a little bit.
Oh
You know what I
no,
mean?
it 100% shits on
Yeah.
Anakin's story because if you remember, that's why I hated Loki season 1 because they shat on the fucking Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
Literally, like first episode, I think first or second episode, I can't remember. He like effectively runs into that one guy and they open a drawer and there's like Infinity
Yeah.
Stones and they're like, there's a
There's a
ton of these,
paperweight.
and he's like, yeah, they're paperweights, and it's like man, you guys fucking suck, man. Like you really want to just like make fun of things that were pretty awesome in the past.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
it,
think they kind of cleverly did. They mentioned in that story that, like, once they're out of their universe, they're basically powerless. So I suppose if you were to bring those back to their universe, they would be the Infinity Stones again. But it's just the fact that they're out of time and out of that universe. It's like, yeah, they're just basically paperweights.
well, well, then then they fuck with their own timeline and universe. Like they fuck with their own lore at that sense because the Infinity Stones
Yeah,
leapt out of a different universe in What If and went into multi universes, like a
true,
multiverse. It went
true.
into different things. They don't care. They really don't. It,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
it,
with you. I'm with you.
it's effectively people don't go over the resources from the past and tack on to that. If they had, I would have been 100% behind it. I've been like, that's funny. And then you see like in What If that like the Infinity Stones are used in one universe, and then he breaks through the fourth wall effectively and goes into different universes to fight the Watcher. And it's still they're still the stones are still active.
Yeah,
It's like it's I call bullshit essentially. So like
yeah,
in terms of what we see here with Star Wars, I call bullshit. Like this stuff, like what they're trying to do and what story they're trying to create is tacking off of Anakin's story and Luke and Leia's story,
yeah,
which is bullshit. Like find your own fucking story. Like stay the fuck out of mine. Like just
yeah.
work on your own stuff. If you have a witch's coven, you can do anything with it. It
Mhm,
doesn't have to be force related. It could have been just like this. It could have been magic. Oh, like I could have just been happy with magic.
mhm.
Like effectively, you see like magic and stuff like that because why not? It's a fucking galaxy. Anything can happen. You can have anything. Like fuck
Yeah,
it.
I wonder, is it though? Is it magic? Like, is it? Because I know they say in the episode, there's a line in the episode. It's like the Jedi call it the Force, but they're using it wrong. We use it, it's used for this, and they try and reestablish what the Force is, and that's what's pissing a lot of people off because they actually have the line in it. The Jedi are
Right.
wrong. They call it the Force. They wield it. It's the wrong, like it's a thread. Blah blah blah. It's like no, no, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like George Lucas said, this is what the Force is. He spent years and years developing it. That's what it is. Please don't fucking try to rewrite history here. Like, you know what I mean? If it's a different interpretation, fair. That's fine. As I say, everyone has different interpretations, but you can't rewrite history.
I
You're
mean,
just gonna piss everybody off. And the
right.
fucking
Like
ratings are telling it, you know, it's out there. You know what I mean? Nobody likes this stuff. Do you know what I
right.
mean? I wanted to rate this episode a 0 out of 10 on IMDb. It's not possible. The lowest rating you can give it is a 1. So I gave it a 1, but I would have given it a 0 if I could have, because the episode was just absolute dog shit from start to finish. Everything about it.
Well, yeah, because they didn't take anything for them. They didn't take anything as like original.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying about the Force and magic. Like I really all I wanted it to be was that they had found their own way of developing their own type of um, you know uh, techniques, and they called it magic. And it has nothing to do with the Force. It's completely void of it,
Yeah.
and therefore like it would have made more sense if one of the twins was a magic user and one the other twin who wanted to be a Jedi was effectively a Force user. And
Yeah.
then you have originality because now you're like Force user, magic user,
I
which is
think that's what
coven, they use magic.
I thought that's what they were gonna do, because you know the way May, the evil twin, wants to ascend, the good one, we'll call her. She wants to become a Jedi. So I thought they were taking these different paths. I thought that's where the story was going. But now I don't know if she did ascend, because obviously it looks like the Coven was killed. So
Right.
maybe she didn't, and then she gets scooped up by this dark Jedi who, like, I know at the very end of the second episode you see him, and he ignites his lightsaber on the beach or whatever on the cliffside. And again, so many questions. Who is this person? Why do they have a lightsaber, but May's being sent to kill Jedi Masters with nothing but a couple of blades, which she's told not to use? She's told to kill these Jedi Masters with her bare hands, and she obviously has to use swords or poison to do this. But it's like, come at me as strong as you can I'll take you down with no weapons. Like, well, why's her master have a red lightsaber?
Right. It
I
like
don't know. Bro, it's weird. Who is this person? Is this Plagueis? Like, that'd be kind of cool if they kind of tried to bring it back to, maybe it's Plagueis. Maybe we see a very young Palpatine. you know I don't know, man. Like, uh, watched episode 1 and 2. I kind of scored them mid, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Not too bad. It was okay. Episode 3 has shook me to my core, as I said at the start of the podcast. I don't know where it goes from here. I really don't. But I remember watching episodes 1 and 2, and I was thinking, oh, High Republic, it'd be really cool if we saw a slightly younger Yoda on the Jedi Council. Plo Koon could be there. You could reference Palpatine or bring him in, or reference Plagueis. You could do some cool things, stuff that we knew was happening before episode 1.
Right.
But now it's like, I don't want Yoda anywhere near this show. I don't want Plo Koon anywhere near this show. I Plagueis and Palpatine like might be the end, like what they're trying to kind of spin at the end, but I kind of don't want any of these like legendary characters to be anywhere near this show because it just seems like such a shit show. Now, in 2 weeks' time, I could come back. We could be, halfway through the season, and I'd be like, okay, it's starting to pick up a little bit. It's getting a little better. They're kind of maybe trying to redeem themselves a little bit. The story's starting to make a little more sense. But like from everything I've seen so far, and from what we've seen in the episodes, you know, I just I don't really care about what happens here. Like, there's a clip that was going around in one of the trailers, and it's like, looks like there's like 10 or 12 Jedi in the forest. They're all igniting their lightsabers at the same time, and the guy with the red lightsaber is fighting them. Like, I'm kind of at this where we are right now. I'm just like, "Ugh, I don't even care about this." Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I just don't even care. Like, we probably won't even with how many plot holes and everything there is in the episode. We probably won't even find out the fucker's name. Like, it's just like it just seems like they're throwing lightsabers in there just be like, oh, don't remember, guys. Don't you forget, guys. This is Star Wars. It's
Right.
like because it just doesn't feel like it whatsoever. Like just how they trying to just rewrite everything is just really fucking it's driving the fan
Right.
base crazy, bro. I've never seen the fan base ignited so much. Like I remember the day after, like looking on Twitter the day after episode 3, and it was just like people attacking Leslie Headland and stuff like, and just I'm just like, whoa, this is people are angry about this shit, like
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, like the way I see it, had had they like I don't know, like it's hard to tell. I think what they were trying to do is portray the Jedi as evil. Um,
yes,
considering that they take away children, and it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like that makes sense to a coven, to a cult, that
yeah,
they believe what they believe and they assume that the opposite end are the bad guys. Sure, that works out.
yeah.
There is nothing that we've seen that had stated that the Jedi are doing something evil.
I've
It,
always kind of thought that it is a little kind of fucked up that the Jedi take kids so young. You know what I mean? Like
but
they detect
but do they
Force users. I know they get the permission from the families. Like they don't steal kids,
right?
but like it is a bit strange. You know what I mean? Like imagine having a 5-year-old son. The Jedi pop into your house, like knock on the door, like, "Hey, how's it going? We've detected that your child is a Force user. We want to take them to a different planet. We want them to become a Jedi. You'll never see them again. We teach
Exactly.
them to disassociate with you.
Right.
It is kind of fucked up. I agree, but like the way that they portrayed it in this show, it was like when Saw's like kind of, it looks like he's like grooming her on the ship and stuff like that, and it's just like it felt real weird.
Mhm.
And then like they're all doing their Black Panther style fucking chant for the Ascension and all. And like the music wasn't fitting for Star Wars at all. I felt like I was watching like Wakanda Forever or something. And then it's like it gets to the point where the Jedi just appear out of nowhere. Like they just start walking down the steps and just break up the party and all. It just felt so sloppy, bro. It just felt stupid. Like, it's like, here come the bad guys. you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it just seems like I never watched any of the episodes, like or I never watched episode 1 and thought to myself, man, these two Jedi were looking for someone who is force sensitive.
Mm,
Like, just they like it just like I never got the notion that Jedi are actively seeking like force sensitive people. I just thought that they were just trying to do their job, and they
yeah.
come across someone who they see as force sensitive, and they're like, you know what, they have potential. We should probably see if we could take them in, and you know,
I think it's mentioned in episode 1. I think Qui-Gon says, because he's talking to Anakin's mother, and he's like, "Who was the father?" And you get the famous line, "There was no father." And then he does the blood test and finds out that he is the highest metachlorian count that they've ever experienced. And Qui-Gon
mhm,
says the line, if he had been born in the Republic, he would have been picked up. So obviously, when children are born, there's a blood test taken. They probably do a metachlorian test on everybody. And then all those records go to the Republic, go to the Jedi, go to the Order. And then it's like, we've got Alex here on fucking planet Earth. His metachlorians are off the charts. He has a potential to be a Jedi. And then they would go do tests on them at an early age. If they, show promise, they would present the offer to the family. And that's one thing I did, I don't think was really kind of shown in the past, but the way the Jedi, even in this show, they say, like, it's up to you. It's your decision at the end of the day. If you want to become if it says to the kids, if you want to become a Jedi, that's great, but you need your parents' permission to leave. So,
Yeah.
the
I'm
consent is there.
right, and I just looked it up, and it's illegal for them to take them.
Yeah.
They have to go through a set of protocols in order to induct the children into the order.
Mhm.
So like it's not a simple like, hey, your child is force sensitive, we need to take him. It's hey, your child is force sensitive. We're gonna go back to our council. We're gonna see about this child, and if he's interested, we'd like to take him in.
Yeah.
So it's a very like respectful kind of procedure, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But because it's a cult that we're seeing right now, because of the witches, I think that's what kind of drives you on the side of like, oh, they're just forcefully taking children. No, these women are literally just like freaking out and saying, no, you're just stealing our kids. It's like, no, like they have to accept, like they have to, like they gave the choice to Osha. Osha
Yeah.
said, I wanted to be a Jedi. And so she gets to go.
Yeah.
But May doesn't want her to be a Jedi. So she destroys a part of like the coven.
That
Um,
turn where she's like, "Well, I'm gonna kill you if you decide to
oh,
go."
I hated
That
that
was so,
fucking line. I
yeah,
was like,
it was so
what did
bad,
this
dude.
turn into, a horror movie all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
What did you
Like
did you like? Did you think the kids were good actors? Because they're a set of real twins, but I was
I,
like, I didn't think they
I
were too bad. I've seen a lot of people shitting all over their performance. I was like, they weren't that bad. There was a couple of bad lines, like the "I will kill you" was terrible, but
yeah,
for the most part, they were fine.
yeah.
I had no real problem with them, but a lot of
I
people were
like
just like, "These kids are
I,
awful."
I think the line that they chose for that was poor. I don't think like I think the kids did a pretty decent job. It's very hard to get kids to act. It's like it's a very tough situation, and it's like it's borderline difficult, because do you want to scar the kid and yell at him and tell him to do their fucking job, or do you want to just try to like be nice to them and tell them like you're doing a good job? Like what are you gonna like, because when it comes to actors and directors, like sometimes they give them like harsh direction, like, hey, I need you to act like this and pretend like if I have to be a dickhead just to get you to do this right, I'm going to be a dickhead. And it's like,
Mhm.
I need you to act this certain way. You can't talk to a kid like that. That's going to fuck him up. So like it's just,
Mhm.
it's a whole different ball game with that. And like they did fine. It's just like, yeah, then I'll have to kill you kind of situation. I think that's a very poor choice of words for this kind of storyline. It should have been, um it I don't know, like I must destroy you, or like I must like that if you're not willing to stay, um then I will, like, I'll do what it takes to make you stay or something. I will do what it takes necessary to make you stay. She pulls out the knife and it's like, oh shit, she's gonna try to murder her. Like give us like a notion that she doesn't really know what she'll do, but she's angry enough that she pulls the knife, and then you're like, oh, okay. So I'm interpreting this as like she's willing to kill her,
Yeah.
and like just to keep the body there, essentially.
Yeah, bro. I just don't feel like the script and stuff is going that deep.
No, it's not, because all it's trying to do is retell a story that we've seen in the past, mix it with other stories, and try to put it as their own.
Yeah.
And
Have you
it's not working.
have you seen any of the kind of real world like interviews with Leslie Headland or anything like that? Like, have you seen why people kind of hate her?
I don't care. I don't care about her at all. Like I like just like it's the performances aren't great. I don't like these actors in general. Like nothing about them speaks to me that they're trying to do their best to be a good actor for this role. It's all just like they're there. They're they don't want to be there, almost like it just felt like that, especially because with Osha it's like, I gave up that a long time ago. Like we've seen that before, we've
Yeah.
seen this shit before. Like you can't recreate this and try to make it better than what it was in the past.
Yeah.
Like you have to give me something. You have to give me some tears, man. Give me some emotion. There's nothing there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like, obviously, I'm going to keep going with the show. I've seen a lot of people say that, this is kind of the end for them,
9
the
was the
straw,
end.
the straw that broke the camel's back sort of thing. I
9
I
was
don't
the
know.
end. Like,
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Boba Fett was the end. Everything is the end. It's
Yeah.
just when new things come out, it recreates a new hope. And I will
Yeah.
continue to use that fucking pun for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I honestly, there's been some nuggets of greatness in the last couple of years, but for the most part, it's been mid at best. And it's a $4 billion purchase from Disney for Lucasfilm. I'd say they are shitting bricks, bro, because it's like, yes, the merchandise sales are probably through the roof. That's fine, but they're not making movies. Star Wars is all about the big screen experience. They're not making films right now. I know there's like Dave's movie that's going to come out. There's Ray's movie that's going to come out. Fine, but like with where it is right now, I just don't even have any faith in any of these projects. Like, Dave's stuff, I'll pray, I'll hope, but that's about it really. Like, this stuff just isn't it. And I was so excited for this show, before we started watching it, because it was like, yes, we're outside the Skywalker saga, we're gonna have more Jedi's floating around, and there was a bit of mystery to it, like, how is there a Sith around? And I've been worried since the start, are they gonna break canon? And obviously now I think, yes, they could potentially, well, they've tarnished legacy, but will they actually break the canon itself? Because like, so many questions, you know what I mean? Like, these kids, you know, Saul and all these guys obviously are Jedi masters. They're on the council, or if they're not on the council, they're definitely, talking to Yoda and stuff like that over the years. This girl comes in who's like old, by the way, because the Jedi's usually have recruit when they're like 4 or 5. This kid, and again, it's the exact same story as the Anakin story. They bring in this girl to become a Padawan, and she's like 8 or 9. It's like, she's too old to be trained. That's what they always say. That's what Yoda says in episode 1. Too old to begin the training. But it's like, would they not remember? Oh yeah, sure. We have a little girl who was like 9, and she was created from the Force too. Like, how would that not
Yeah.
come up? It's just so stupid, bro. And like, I would usually say like, oh well, maybe the events of this show won't make it to the Jedi Council, but it's like, come on, like, there's Jedi Masters now being uh deleted. Is Yoda not going to hear about this? Like, are the rest of the council
Literally,
not going to hear about this?
literally on the keyboard,
Yeah,
delete.
delete. You're gone. Pack your bags. You're finished. It's
Get the
like,
fuck out.
yeah, it's like, oh man, I just thought, I like, it seems so sloppy, and I don't know how they're going to save it. I'm curious to see, will they save it. I will watch more. I will watch the whole thing, and I'm trying to hold criticism till the very end. But after last week's episode, I was very angry. Like, I was like trying very hard not to jump on the bandwagon of this is shit, this is shit. Like, but do you know what I mean? It was too hard, man. I just couldn't. I have a Discord where we talk about all the kind of nerdy stuff, and the next day I was kind of in there straight away, kind of just letting it all rip, and I try to be better, but after that episode I just couldn't. Like, that was probably the worst episode of Star Wars TV ever, potentially the worst like episode of Star Wars content ever. Like, that could be it, like number one. Like, The Last Jedi was up there for me as like one of the biggest like kind of blasphemies that has ever come out of Star Wars, but this might take number one spot now, episode 3 of this show. Like, it's
It,
worse. It's worse than Boba Fett. It's worse than fucking Ahsoka. It's worse than the Kenobi show. Like, and the worst parts of those shows as well. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about, this show had twice the budget that Kenobi had, which to this day blows my mind. You got Hayden back, you got Ewan back. You're doing basically Star Wars episode 3.5. You're doing the story between 3 and 4. This should be the biggest home run of your careers. This should be the easiest money you've ever made. And they fuck it up, and they under budget the show, and it looked like it. It looked like the thing was shot all exclusively shot on the void. It felt like it. Like, do you remember Mando season 1? I
yeah,
watched when I watched that show for the first time, I genuinely thought they were in the deserts. I thought, like, it felt real. I genuinely thought it was real. And that's how good the void was at the start. And now it just feels shit. And I think someone, I think I was watching a video from Star Wars Theory, but he was saying that the guy who was hired by Lucasfilm and who did the original like calibrations and configurations of the Void, they fired him, and he was the guy who made the magic, and now they can't do it as good as they used to because they fired the dude who made it look real, you know? So now it's like it looks worse. It's crazy, bro. I'm like, they just, it's like they've shot themselves in the foot, and now it's like, okay, we're down. We're down for the count. Let's shoot ourselves in the other foot. Let's fire the guy who is able to make the Void look real. It's just crazy to me, man. It really is. It's crazy. And just under budget in a show like Kenobi. Kenobi should have had 200 million if it had 90 or something. This show has 180, 190. Like this show should like Kenobi should have had twice the budget of this show. I'm sorry. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Outrageous.
I don't know, man.
Outrageous, man.
It's really tough for certain aspects of this storyline to be taken seriously, and seeing that the budget for Kenobi was lower than this, like even
Half,
then with
half, bro.
like
Half.
right, and even then with it being lower, like it was still somewhat enjoyable. It wasn't like a trash fire. It was okay,
Mhm.
until the very end, and then it was like, oh god, no.
Yeah.
um this is already, with by the time you get to episode 3, oh god, no. It
Yeah.
was like it's fucking laughable, dude. Like, and I took a look at which 3 of those Jedi that May has gone up against, like which one is actually, like, are they all masters? Um not Yord. Yord was a knight. So like maybe he just took it as like, I can't beat her, but like it's fucking weird that you can't beat her. Being a Jedi Knight doesn't just mean you sit
Who
down and
who's
die.
who's Yord again?
I think Yord was the by the book Jedi. Wasn't that the guy who was
Floating in
like
the bubble who poisoned himself.
think so? Oh no
I
no
think
no no no
that's
no.
Torben.
You're right. That's
Yeah.
Torben.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all bastards. That's horrible, dude. Ah
Torben. So
uh,
Yord is the guy I was telling you about with the dreadlocks.
yeah.
He's the guy who in in the interviews before the show was saying that Darth Vader blew up the Death Star. That's
Right.
that guy.
Dumbass, but but at the very least, like his acting was pretty
Yeah,
spot on
he's
for a
he's pretty good.
Jedi.
He's pretty
Yeah,
good. Yeah, he's
but
he's
just
done he's done bits. He's been on TV shows before. And like I'm kind of surprised as well that they've made like Daphne Keane look really shit as well. She looks like kind of stupid in the show. Like her kind of makeup and stuff is just crap. It just doesn't look great. And I kind of feel like they're underutilizing her as well. Like they should probably have her more in the show. I don't know. Maybe
they,
she'll probably grow as a character more in the show. And like your
yeah,
man
they're gonna bring her back.
George's Padawan showed up for like 4 minutes in the episode, and then like you don't see her at all. She's like, should he not be bringing his Padawan on missions and stuff? Again, look, I plot holes everywhere. I just don't. I don't want.
No,
I don't want to get too crazy.
yeah, I totally get what you're saying, but like it's just these moments that you see where it's like May is not a master. May is absolutely not a master at anything.
No,
Like,
Jesus. But like even like the dude Torben, right? He's kind of like the new kind of he's the new kind of like slagger boy for the fan base. I think
mhm,
everyone's like, what would Torben do? Like, oh, Torben died for this and everything. Everyone's kind of making fun of him. It was kind of like the dude Wade in the Kenobi show. The dude
mhm.
Wade, he was like the rebel that he like died like straight away, and everyone's just like, no, Wade, not Wade, anybody but Wade. It's like everyone seems to kind of have just like jumped on the Torben train for this show. So like it's Torben time and stuff. I've seen like floating around. It's just funny, like, but that kid, right, in the flashback was like a Padawan, like a young Padawan, and now he's a master. It just doesn't even make any sense because if you think about it, right, the girl, like the twins were maybe 8 or 9 years old in the flashback. Then I think we hear that they were Padawan, or the good one, she was a Padawan for 8 years. So I don't know how long has been. I don't know how long it's been since she's left the order, but Torben's been in isolation for 10 years. So it's like if he's been in isolation for 10 years, when did he become a master?
Right. I
Like he was a Padawan when we saw him in the past. How did he jump from being a Padawan to being a master so quickly? You know what I mean? It took like I think it took Obi-Wan like 12 years.
was he just a Padawan? He could have been a knight at
He
that
had like
point.
he had like the braid in his hair and stuff, and that's usually the telling that they're Padawans because they have the braid, like Obi-Wan's braid in episode 1.
Right.
If you look at the flashback, where he go where his eyes go black and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he has the braid in his hair there in that scene, so that would indicate that he is a Padawan.
Uh, yeah. Fuck. Like
Like the
like
timelines aren't even adding up, bro. It's like there's no way, because if that is the case, right? So if it is the case that in that short time frame, because you got to remember he's been in that bubble for 10 years, so in the short time frame between,
is a bubble boy.
yeah, but between those, that in that short time frame, he's gone from being a Padawan to being a master. Like, that's pretty
Yeah.
incredible. And again, how young is he? He looks really young. I know that's the kind of the running joke. Is he 16 or is he 60? Like, it's hard to tell. Because like they put the beard on him and stuff, but in the flashback scenes, he's a kid. Like I think he was in Game of Thrones, the
Hmm.
actor. But it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. It just doesn't make any sense. He's become a master so quickly. And again, he obviously probably only has the beard because he's been in the bubble for 10 years. That's the only reason why he has the beard, right? But again, it's like he's a master, but then, in episode 3, Obi-Wan says like to Anakin, you're going to be a master in a couple of years. Don't be pissed off that you're on the council, but you're not a master. But you're going to be like one of the youngest masters, if not the youngest master of all time. It's like, well, Torben was a master. Looks like he did it in 2 years. It's just, I don't know, man. They're not respecting the source material, like, and it just fucking annoys me because it's a dangerous game when you go back in time, and especially when you go back to being so close to the originals. You know what I mean? Like if they had gone back 500 years, you can kind of do whatever you want because it's like you can play a little loose with history and storytelling and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
information was passed down incorrectly. You know what I mean? Like that's the real world. And now it's like, you're 80 years. I think someone calculated they're like 80 years before episode 1 in this show. And it's like, Yoda's like 800 years old at this stage. There's no way he's not remembering everything that's going on at this time. You know what I mean? He's an old wise man at this stage still. Like I think he's like 700 or 800 years old at this stage. So, you know what I mean? Like there's no way that there isn't something going on with regards to the Jedi that he doesn't know about. It's fucking full of holes, man. It's Swiss cheese, full of holes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Uh, do people have to use the bathroom in this universe?
I would presume so. I don't think I've ever seen like a Jedi take a shit or anything, but like, I presume they
Well, because
would.
like
Yeah.
that vow, it's like, does he break the bubble and have to go sit on the toilet for a minute, or like?
I don't know. Again, I'm gonna guess it's like he's in a state of like
See, is he
he's in a, he's
forcing the poop to
he,
stay in
he's
him?
he's in a coma, basically. I would say.
Is he just forcing the
You know?
poop to stay in him?
Yeah, imagine like just flushing the bubble. But yeah, like I presume he's not using the bathroom, he's not eating, he's not drinking or anything. He's just literally sitting there. Like they say it in the show, it's like he hasn't moved, he hasn't spoke to anybody in 10 years. And it's like, do the events of episode 3 warrant that sort of reaction? No, definitely not. And in the fact that, like, again, he was a Padawan during these flashbacks, he had to have become a knight and then a master, and then what? Then he gets stricken with guilt after that. Like, when does this happen? When does the
I don't
guilt
know,
kick in
man.
and he goes, I have to go into isolation? I need to just live in a bubble. Like, it's just weird, man. I know we need to see more, but I have so many questions. And with each question, I get more pissed off.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, like I wasn't this pissed off before we started talking about it. I hadn't thought about it that much. And now I'm talking about it more and I'm just like, oh, this is just,
Well,
I'm finding more holes as we're
right.
talking.
Well, because it's like you said, episode 3 should have been episode 1. It should have just been like, okay, here we start. We know that there's twins. Okay, let's just move on from there. Episode 2 is episode 1, where like it's kind of like you said, like, hey Osha, how you doing? And it's a backstabbing, which would make more sense because then you don't detect that you're in danger and you just get assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
Which can happen, like, so in some cases, like you might think that they're your friend, in which case they're your foe. Episode 2 is now episode 3. We kind of move on, and now we have these moments of like he did, Torben did something wrong, right? But like we don't know what. We had already watched episode 3 as episode 1, and it's like, wait, so what happened between? Like, because
Exactly.
it didn't seem that big of a deal. But now we're comparing it to episode 3 because it's like apparently shit went down at the coven. Is that really the case of why Torben's so torn up about it?
Yeah.
Torn up Torben.
I I would have
Okay.
told if I was writing this story, I would have told it in a completely different order anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a much better story anyway, but definitely a different order. I wouldn't have done the whole twin reveal for at least 2, maybe 3 episodes. I wouldn't have had the Jedi's being assassinated until mid-season, even towards the end of the season. Like, you know what I mean? Let
Yeah.
there be some story to be told to make you give a shit about these characters so that when you see them die, you're like, oh no, I was really starting to like that person.
I
Oh,
don't
I can't
know.
believe they
Like,
died.
yeah, but I don't know though. Like, whenever you play like Knights of the Old Republic, like some of these characters from the get go, and then by the end of it, you find out that they turn into a Sith, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, it's kind of like a cool situation where you can, like, it won't be original, of course, because like twins are never original. Like, it's been done to death.
Yeah.
But you start them out. You know that there's twins. They exist. They have conflicting ideals, and then they go off. Like, you come back later in the time frame, you find out that one of them has effectively turned evil and started killing Jedi, and it's like, okay, well then, but they're claiming that the other twin is like, the good person, or
Yeah.
not, or like is the killer, and it's like, no, 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 I have a twin kind of situation. It's like, well, there
They
you go. So
again, the Jedi think that May is dead this whole time. So again, I go back to Carrie Ann Moss's first scene, and it's like when she sees May in the bar, would she not be like, "Oh shit, good to see you"? Like, would she not
yeah, of course.
misidentify her as Osha and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Osha, what are you doing here? What you're trying to kill me? What the fuck is that dark side energy I feel off you? Oh my god, you've turned bad." Like Saul and everybody else saw May die, so like, why would they be like, "Who are you? Who trained you?" All this stuff, it just doesn't make any sense. Would they not just be like, "Oh my god, Osha, why are you doing this? Saul would be so upset with you." Blah blah blah. It's like it doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's why I say just have a sneak attack assassination. Just
Yeah,
murder the like, I would have been fine with an assassination, but that's not an assassination. That's just a combat. Like, that's just a combat that ruled out in a murdering.
yeah,
Like, it's hard to go through, and like, I don't want to keep dwelling on it because it's like, we can't figure it out. It's hard to
yeah,
tell. Like, we'd have to definitely watch the next few episodes.
yeah.
Um, but the funniest thing about Carrie Ann Moss's character is that, like, they base that character off of Trinity.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of. I know they're
no,
trying to.
literally, she knows Force Fu. I am not shitting you. That is a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
She's
I know
proficient in Force Fu.
it is a little on the nose. You hire the dude from the guy I can't think of the actor's name who's playing Saul as well. It's like you've got a lot of
From Squid
a
Game.
yeah Asian characters in the show, and then it turns into like martial arts. I that doesn't bother me in the slightest. I enjoyed those scenes. Those fight scenes were cool. I really enjoyed them. But like, yeah, I do see people kind of like, oh, this doesn't feel like Star Wars. It's like ninja shit and all. And I'm like, that doesn't bother me at all.
No, it doesn't
Because like
bother me either. Like,
some of the
dude,
Jedi are able to do that stuff.
right.
Like it's definitely
Dude, to this day, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is still a staple of a lot of things that you see in movies. Like, The Matrix probably wouldn't have been done like that well without Crouching Tiger.
mhm.
Like, it's the same kind of concept. It's constantly going through. Jedi are Force users. They can flow through effectively, like in Crouching Tiger. Like, it's the same thing, but it's cool. Like, I think it's cool.
Yeah. No, I do too. I do too. I have no problem with like the choreography seems good. The lightsaber hilts are fucking ass, by the way. Like
Are they? I
I
didn't even
hate
notice.
oh dude, I hate every single one of them. Like usually one of the things that like I love I love lightsaber hilts. There's 2 of them on the shelf behind me there. Like I love them. You know what I mean? Like I always love looking at a beautiful lightsaber hilt. Like, it was always the first thing, the first lightsaber you see, Luke's in episode 4, the graphics. It's an amazing piece of art. Whereas all these fucking lightsaber hilts in the show, they're gigantic looking. They have no style to them whatsoever. They all look just really generic and just clunky and huge. And that shit just annoys me. You know what I mean? Because again, it's me nitpicking as a fucking Star Wars nerd. I'm just like, why can't they just make good looking hills? You know, it's just annoying.
Right.
And they're just gigantic looking. I'm like, how are these guys fighting with these things? They're just so ugly. I don't know. But yeah, man, yeah, yeah. Again, it's a rough one. It's a rough one. 0 out of 10 for episode 3. We need to move on. um, do you want to see the interview with Leslie Headland where she's talking about? No.
No, I don't want to. I don't care
Oh,
about that person. I know, like
yeah.
I've heard rumors about like, the different actors like showing off their lack of knowledge of the entire universe itself. I've heard about the whole like lesbians, gay, like, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to hear it.
She
Um,
she called R2D2 a lesbian in an interview.
it's a fucking bot, lady. Like, just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
They
and
have
like
no genitalia. They
in
don't.
this in this interview, she looks at your man and goes, "Can you look at me with a straight face and tell me that C3PO isn't gay?" And it's like
Does she?
C3PO is a fucking robot. He was
Does she?
created. He was created by a 7-year-old boy on a desert planet. You know what I mean? He's not gay.
At what point do you look at R2D2 and it's like, yep, that's a
Oh,
gay bot?
yeah, it's crazy,
Even
dude.
like, and C3PO is absolutely not gay. He's just a proficient butler
He's a,
style like
he's a computer.
bot. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a
he's a very
translation droid.
yeah, he's so fucking smart. And if you go into like the Mandalorian, there are other translation bots that show up that
Mhm.
look just like C3PO. They're the exact same fucking demeanor, dude. They have the exact same manners. Are you telling me that those are gay or lesbian bots? Fuck off. They're
Yeah,
bots. Like I said, they don't have junk down there.
yeah,
Like
it's
like
crazy.
you can't personify or not personify, but you can't put something that doesn't exist
Exactly.
into this character. That's not the point. The point is that this fucking character was cool because they were so helpful to Anakin. They were helpful to Luke. They're helpful even in the sequel trilogy. They were still helpful. They were such a well-respected character. And you're telling me that you care about their gender.
Yeah,
Some bullshit, dude.
this is what's annoying a lot of people, bro. And it's like it's stupid. And this is the person who said this is the fucking director and creator of this show. It's scary
It's
shit,
it's
man. I
it,
like,
it, it's bananas, dude. It's fucking it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't care. I
yeah,
don't care. I have gay family members. I don't call them and be like, "Hey, you're still gay, right?" Like, no,
yeah,
I don't care. I call them like, "Hey, how you doing, cousin? I miss you. I love you. How you been?"
yeah.
They're
Well,
my
like
they're my
I've
family.
always
Like, who cares?
I've always thought of R2D2 as a boy, and I'll tell you why. Because when I was a little boy, I always thought R2D2 is like me. He's like a little boy. And like Leslie Headland, being a lesbian woman, I'm sure she probably grew up and thought, oh, R2D2 is like me. Like it's how you perceive the content. Like, but it doesn't
Right.
make your view of it correct or my view of it correct. You know,
Exactly.
I would call R2D2 a he because that's just the way my mind perceived it as a child. Like, and that's the way I look at it. But I'm not saying for definite. Oh well, R2D2 is a boy, 100%. You
Right.
know, whatever. It's like, but like for to say that like in an official capacity, that it's like they're a couple, they're a gay couple together. He R2 is a lesbian and C3PO is gay. It's like that's like a really weird thing to say. Number one, and number two, like if you're saying this officially, like the fan base are gonna just destroy you for this stuff. Like it's just outrageous, man. It's outrageous.
It's dumb. It's downright stupid because you want to like like that to me is pushing the agenda, is effectively stepping out of the film and going, didn't you like these gay characters? It's like, dude, I didn't care that like if like they could have been macking out for fucking 10 minutes. As long as they got some shit done in the story, I would have been happy.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
like again, it's when when you take like orientation into the story, like when you try to make that the story, That's where the problem is. Like, it's like I've never given a shit about characters being gay or straight. I just want good
Oh,
stories. I want characters to fall in love with. You know what I mean? That's it. I don't care who they share their bed with in their own time. Like, to be honest, Star Wars is a show and a IP that's mainly for children. Like, I don't think orientation, gay or straight or anything, should probably be in this show at all. I think it should be kept out of it. Like, I just think that's not what these kids need to learn about at this age. Like, you know what I mean? Like, 8-year-old
well,
kids don't need to know like about fucking that sort of stuff, like gay
right.
or straight.
I get what you're saying. Um, the way I would see it though, man, is like it's not so much like leave it out. It's more so like just let it be a thing
Yeah, stop
and
hyper
not.
focus on it.
Yes, exactly. Do not hyper focus. Just let it be a thing. If,
Yeah.
if like if you have someone who's a potential Padawan with like gay parents, I didn't even know they were gay. Like it was just like I was just like, oh, these two people like, and maybe I just over like didn't think about it. I was just like I was more focused on like what Osha and May meant to the coven because they were the only two children left within that coven.
Hmm.
So like it didn't cross my mind like, oh, we have gay parents or whatnot, and I probably just didn't notice it. It's like again with the Eternals and Fastos, like I didn't go into it and Fastos was like, oh, he's gay now, like he took on a husband. No, like it had underlying meaning to it. Like he was trying to live a normal life the way he wanted to because of the things that he's done in the past to cause so much destruction. He was just trying to be like, live amongst the people and not be destructive. And so like that's didn't
Yeah.
matter. Like,
Well,
yes,
I
cool.
thought they did a good job with America Chavez's parents because
Oh, that
she
was
had
so good.
lesbian parents, but again, you saw them for a split second. It wasn't really focused on, and it was just like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I lost my mom's or whatever it was, and
yeah,
it was like that was it. Like it was just part of the story, but it wasn't hyper focused on, so
right.
I don't know. Like there's definitely right ways to do it, and I think there's
Yeah,
definitely wrong ways to do it. And for some reason, Disney are just doing it the wrong way right now. I like, it's just it seems forced and no pun intended, but it just seems like every time I see something, I'm just like, oh my god, here we go again. Like it's like just stop, just let's go with the story, please. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
We haven't come to Star Wars to watch, like, to be taught about all this sort of stuff. It's like, let's just talk about fucking Star Wars, please.
See, if they really wanted to do anything of the sort to kind of teach this type of like, situation, there are things to talk about. But this isn't the setting. It's just like you said, this is not the setting for it. This is not the time. It's not the time. There's plenty of shows, plenty of kids shows, plenty of like, like like children's viewing like children's cartoons that effectively portray that kind of stuff because that's part of the setting. And it's like, you don't have to put it everywhere. Like, fine, you want to have certain relationships within the movie and within the show, that's fine. But don't forget about the story, man. Like just give us this, like, just tell the story, please. Like if this is part of the story, if it matters, like then 100%, I'm all 100% for it. But don't tell it unless it matters. And that's why when I see Frenchie in The Boys, like it's so easy for me to take in because I do believe that guy could be like on like swinging for both fences because he's effectively a very loving character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, like the way that he took in Colin in a sense and met him at the AA meeting. It just it felt good. It like felt organic. It's like he's trying to. It's not so much that he can't accept that he wants to be with Colin. It's that there's shit that he did in the past that will destroy that relationship if he tries to go any further.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect transition into the boys, by the way. um, yeah, man. Look, again, me and my girlfriend looked at each other when the whole Frenchie thing was happening, and we're just like, why? Why is this happening right now? And I was just like, what the fuck? And why I say this is because for 3 seasons, over 3 years, I think, like, when did the show start? I can't even remember, like 2018 or something. Like, the
Mhm.
show's been going on for a long time now. And for the entire show, I have just wanted Frenchie to get with Kimiko. I've just wanted that for the whole show. you know? And then just it seems like they've just taken a sharp right turn out of nowhere, and now Frenchie's like wanting to pursue this dude Colin, but he's kind of on the fence. And Kamiko literally says the words, "It's never gonna happen with us, bro. Move on." Like she just
Yeah.
shoots him down. And I'm just like, oh man, like it just kind of 3 seasons of the show, and I'm just kind of thinking, like, oh, will they get together in the end? Like, I hope they do, because they would be kind of cool together. And it's just all gone. It just felt like such a waste.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's like, oh, I was rooting for them as well, but like Kimiko's happy with who she is. She doesn't feel that way towards Frenchie. She just sees him as like probably a
Yeah,
brother or something. And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
okay with that. Cause like that's how some stories happen. It's like,
True.
it's like when you see like in the X-Men or in Marvel shows or even DC, it's like I know we've been working together. I know we've had like a long relationship, as a team and whatnot, and we've had so many things to share. But ultimately, I don't feel that way about you, and it's a hard pill to swallow. That's a real thing that people have a hard time like accepting. Um, and luckily, Frenchie is like, I understand. Like I get that. It's not you. If and it's true. And that's why I love this. That's why I love it so much during that point of him saying, it's not you, it's this. And
Yeah,
it's fully explained in the right way, because then it's now like, okay, I completely understand. It's not because of conflicting ideals or like conflicting feelings like he's curious or something. He accepts that part of himself. It's
oh yeah,
just it's just the past that he had. He killed the dude's parents and family. Like
yeah,
it's fucked up. Like he likes Colin. Like
yeah.
and for a guy named Frenchie, like not to sound weird about it, but like he's a very loving kind of guy, and he's a French man, and he's like, who wouldn't?
Well, I think a lot of people have forgotten, because I think there is a bit of a. I've noticed a bit of a kind of to and fro with fans online about this, like this topic that we're talking about. Again, the only reason why I don't like it is it's nothing to do with the gay part. It's the fact that for 3 seasons they did
You
build
wanted Kimiko.
whatever you want to say, whether you say like she was never into him or anything, they were building that up for 3 seasons. They definitely were. You know what I mean? Like when she loses her powers, he's in the hospital bed with her and all, and he's like telling her he loves her and everything. Like it's, and he went from being like completely obsessed with her to being very protective over her to falling in love with her, and then now for it to just be over, it just seems a weird turn to take. But again, The Boys is a very weird show. So again, I don't really, I'm not shocked by it, but I remember thinking, oh, why are they doing this? Why are they going this way with it? It just seems like such a fucking 180 from the way they were going, you know? And it just, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just it's tough. It's a tough dynamic, because again, they're always like so close to each other. And I just kind of feel now that they're going to just move apart. So I don't know. I just don't personally like that, because I think the two of them together are two of my favorite characters in the whole show. There's the chemistry between them, and I think this might change their relationship now on the show. And I hope it doesn't, but I think it will. Um,
I
one
can
of
see how you feel that way, but like ultimately, I'm happy if they're together. Like in the sense of like if they're in the same room and they're still happy with each other and they're still trying to take care of each other, I'm happy with that. They said their piece. It's over. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are forgetting as well that like Frenchie had said himself at the start of the show that he was bi. Like I think
Yeah,
some people are like, where did this gay thing come from with him? Like it's completely out of the blue. It's like, were you not paying attention at the start of the show? Like
exactly.
he was in a relationship, like a three-way relationship at the start of the show with a
Yep.
with a dude and a girl. So it's like, I'm not shocked that this is happening. I just kind of think story-wise it's a bit weird, because we were going in one direction for
It,
so long, and now it's just like
I get that, man. Like they were trying to
turn it
ship.
around.
It almost seemed like they were going to ship Kimiko, but like they must have had this ready to go so that there would be like this thought of like maybe there's conflict between them because because he's still into her and she's not.
Mm,
Um, but like ultimately, like I get it. I get how you feel. It's like when you're seeing like two Marvel characters and like only like it's Scott and Jean, but ultimately I would love to see Jean and Wolverine at one point, but like it's never going to happen.
mm.
It's a fucked up situation, and I would love for it to happen, but it'll never happen.
Yeah, that's different though. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
No, it'll never. No, it's just the exact same thing, buddy. It's the exact same
Not
thing.
really.
It
Like
literally,
Wolverine is
Gene is
going after a taken woman though. Like that's different.
no, no. He could go after the clone, but
Well,
it's not going to happen with Gene,
yeah,
no
but
matter how much.
he's going after. He's in love with Jean, and Jean has been with Scott the entire time. So it's not as if there was that window and she chose one way, and it could have been Logan. It never could have been Logan. Like, but
Right, and that's why it could never have been Kamiko and Frenchie because she
mm,
said, "I don't feel that way."
but again, at the show at the start for the first
You
couple of seasons, you
you
never
could
know that for sure.
Yeah, dude, us as guys, and I know you felt the same way about this before. I don't know how many different people that you've ever tried to get with, but there's always that underlying thinking. It's like, do they actually like me? Do they not? Um, what's going to happen? Are we going to split apart? Or it's like stuff like that. It's always a possibility that it's either one way or the other. And when you find out that it's not, shit happens. Like you move on, you split up, or you just remain friends. It's part of the way it is, and that's how I see it. Like definitely it's the exact same fucking thing. Like Jean, although she kissed Wolverine in 97, she knew it was a mistake because she still loves Scott. It was a mistake. And it was because like she was feeling lonely at the time. She didn't understand what Madeline Pryor was going through. And
Yeah,
so they reconcile their differences. It's still Gene and Scott. It's never going to hit Wolverine. They're never going to get together.
never.
Just like with Kimiko and Frenchie. Kimiko has set it in stone. We will never be together. And if they change it later on, there you go. There was a cool plot twist.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are you thinking of the boys' first 3 episodes? Are you liking it? I
I'm
saw we
hating
getting
it.
some. You're hating it.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, whoa, here we go.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
I saw
No,
when the original. I think the original like critical score was like 80%, and I was thinking, oh shit, maybe it's dipping in quality a little bit here. But I watched it and I thought it was great. And I think like the audience score has it up in like the 90s again. Like so, it's like they can't miss, bro. They can't, like they really can't miss. It's fantastic. Like Homelander, like every fucking scene I see him in, like it's just gripping to watch. He's such a fucking complex character. And the show is just I know I say it every season, but I'm like, how are they gonna top last season? Like, the exploding dick with like the Ant-Man character, like they'll never top that. Ever. And then like Gen V try to top it with like, the whatever her name is, was her name Termite or something or whatever? I can't think of her name.
uh, God, I can't remember either.
And I think her real name's Emma, like the girl who shrinks as well, like when she's like hugging the dick and stuff. I was like, okay, that's pretty fucking outrageous. But now this season, it's like it's crazy, bro. Like the first episode I watched, I was like, the first episode I think, if I'm remembering correctly, was quite tame, and I was thinking, because usually in episode 1 they try and like out the gate get as outrageous as possible, and it's like
Mhm.
let's shock everybody, and it's just like it's twisted. And episode 1, I don't think there was anything really. I think the only thing that really happened was it the first episode where Homelander was like saying to like to A Train like go over and suck the deepest dick,
Yeah.
and like everyone in the room is just like terrified, and like part of me like is again I'm a straight man. I don't enjoy seeing dicks on TV. I realize it's part of the world we live in now. I don't think it's fair. I won't get down on this topic for too long, but like
Just don't
I
get down on that dick, buddy.
it's not the same as seeing a pair of tits. Seeing bare dick on screen is not the same as tits. I'm sorry. I don't know how people think it's the same or whatever. Like I say this to my girlfriend all the time. Like I'm just like, I'm so sick of seeing dicks on TV. Like I hate it. Like it's very intrusive. Like it just doesn't it's not right. Like right. But then like she's oh well you've been seeing tits and ass on screen for years like since the 80s or whatever. I'm like that's not the same. It's not. Like seeing a girl's ass is not the same as seeing bare dick on screen for fucking minutes on end. Minutes, man. So when it came to that scene where he's like, A Trey, get on your knees and suck the deep stick, I was like, oh my God, am I actually going to see this happen right now? Like, because that's where this show is at. I'm kind of thinking, how do they keep like raising these levels to get to like that more shocking shit? I'm like, we're actually gonna see these two superheroes suck dick here. Like, I think that's what's gonna happen. And like, thank God it didn't happen. I was like, oh, thank God. But like, it had
Oh
me
God,
like,
there's
I
one
was,
less dick I have to worry about.
I was freaking out, man. I was freaking out, right? So then we come to episode 2, and the dude in episode 2, I can't remember his name in the show, the guy who splits into like multiple people. You know where I'm going with this, but basically
Oh yeah,
we see him like doing a human centipede on himself.
yeah.
So I'm a massive Supernatural fan. I'm actually wearing a Supernatural t-shirt right now. I'm a massive Supernatural fan. That dude is in Supernatural and he plays God. He is literally God in that show, right? And I'm like, the same dude who made Supernatural makes the boys. And I'm like, he's actually brought God into this show and he has him eating his own ass. I'm like, this is outrageous.
It's
I'm like,
awesome.
fuck's sake, man. I was like, no, I was like, not Rob, like, I was like,
And he,
not God, like, you know, I was just like, no.
and
And
he
then
had
later
pink
on,
eye.
yeah, hilarious. But then, like, later on in the show, I'm just like seeing like 15 of them, and it's just his dick hanging out for like 4 minutes straight. I'm just like, no, like, that is literally who
No,
I see as God.
the
Like, I
dicks.
just see this.
Help me,
There's so many dicks, bro. It's
God! Why are there
crazy.
so many dicks?
There's so many, bro. It's just, it's
Just,
a little hard to take sometimes, you
I
know, and
swear,
like
I
even.
just picture you on the ground, Pinto, just fetal position. There's too many dicks. There's
There's
too
so
many
many, bro.
dicks.
You have to agree with me though. There's like it's too far, man. It's
Too
crazy.
many dicks.
But even in the first episode, like we see fucking Butcher's asshole in it as well. And I'm just like, oh my God, man. Like it's just like I feel like I've seen
It's
everything
so
in this show.
good.
It's just crazy, dude. It's
It's so
crazy.
fucking good.
Yo, Griff, what's up, dude? How are you?
What's going on,
Um
man?
oh, dude, it's just
Sorry for you to jump in
again,
on all the
yeah,
stick.
you jumped in at the probably worst part ever to be popping in, but imagine just like his first time watching the podcast, like these guys are just talking about dick.
Yeah, they're just like, I don't know what's going on here. I thought this was about,
This is
Star
about
Wars.
Marvel.
Now we're just getting dicks.
Well, look, you can't talk about the boys without talking about dick. This is just where we are, and it's not my fault. It's blame fucking Kripke. But anyway, look, yeah, the show's been fantastic. Homelander like bashing in the dudes' heads, like, and just like, you know, I think it's very kind of on the nose with what's happening like in the real world right now with like, you know, the right versus the left and all this sort of stuff. I think like they're you know, the Homelanders versus the Starlights and stuff. I think they're like very cleverly kind of like referencing what's happening in the world right now. And yeah, it's shocking. It really is shocking. Like
I
it's
think
good
it's
though.
just coincidental though. Like it just seems
It's
like
on
it's one
purpose,
of
bro.
the
It's on
well,
purpose. They're
well,
dead.
well, yeah,
There's no.
no,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's 100% on purpose. I'm just saying like it's coincidental, because they were probably setting this up in the writing board, like having those moments. But then because we're having the split currently in the real world, it's like let's double down on it. Let's go even
Oh yeah.
harder.
Yeah. It's just even like what's her name? Firecracker or whatever.
Yeah,
Is that her name? Like everything she talks about is just so funny. It's like all the conspiracy theories and stuff like
the
that. Like,
flat earthers.
dude, I know people that send me all this shit like in real life, and it's like, you know, talking about everything. Like even stuff they bring up on this show is like references to real like conspiracy theory shit that's going on right now and all. I just thought it was very funny. But like again, that just shows you how kind of ear to the ground these guys are, you know, and
Dude, did you have you been watching Smiling Friends?
no, I've heard about it though.
Oh,
They,
dude,
like they're talking about the flat earth and shit.
the most recent episode at the very end of the episode, because they got abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
Like they were on their way back home, and they go and they're in front of Earth, and they're like, Charlie, what the fuck is that? And then they look and it's flat, and they're like,
I
oh
saw
my,
the clip, dude.
they're like, oh my god, you could even see the dome. Like,
I sent that to a friend of mine who is a flat earther, and he was just like, "Bro, they're telling us. They always tell you. They always put it right out there." And all. I'm like, "No,
Pip,
dude,
Pip, we
come on."
gotta take this to the grave. We can't tell everybody about this. This will destroy the planet. It's
It's so funny, dude. It's so funny.
oh,
I don't want to talk about flat Earth. Please, let's move on.
no, we're good.
I can't. Um, trying to think now. The ice skating scene in episode 3. I saw a lot of people talking about that online. So when I first watched it, I watched on Thursday. I only got 2 episodes in. I couldn't watch episode 3 until Friday evening, and I saw loads of people talking about episode 3 on Friday. They're like, "Oh, it's the worst thing I've ever seen, and it was gruesome and all this sort of stuff." And I'm kind of like,
That was pretty tame.
after I watched it, I was like, "What?" When the Maeve like cosplayer got cut in half, I'm like, we see people getting cut in half all the time on this show. Like, I was like, what the hell? I was like, and like they're skating over the fingers and stuff. I was like, it's okay.
Dude, we've seen someone
It's not crazy.
explode in someone's dick.
Yeah, true. Griffin, we're talking about The Boys, season 4, episodes 1 to 3. We're just basically they only came out a couple of days ago on Amazon.
Yep. And so far we're loving it, man. Like
I do, I love it.
it's really like, and it's crazy how much like when we love something, it's really hard for us to want to talk more about like anything that could be considered a flaw. Like there might be a couple things here and there, but for the most part, it's it's still pretty high up there on the board, like as a pretty damn good show. I really hope it sticks to landing. I know that this season and season 5 will be the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I saw they announced that outright. I'm loving Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character in it. Like again, we haven't really seen much of him, but I just love seeing him in anything. I really hope that I know there's been a lot of talk about Kripke getting the 2 supernatural boys to come in and just have the 3 of them on screen like for the last season of the show. I pray it happens. I love it. Yeah, I think the season's gearing up to be a good one. What do you think about them releasing 3 episodes at once? Do you think maybe like the pacing might have been a bit slow in episode 1 or something? So there was like, we need to release a little bit more of it to kind of get people hooked, or I thought it was
Maybe
kind of strange, like because they could have spread those 3 episodes out over 3 weeks and had it on air, and everybody talked about the boys for 3 more, almost an entire month more. I kind of found it to be a bit strange that they released the first 3 all at once. I thought it was a bit weird.
I think with episode 1, it wasn't slow or anything, but it did have this moment of like, what are we gonna do? Like, how are we gonna handle these kinds of things? It
Hmm.
wasn't necessarily like geared up towards action, and maybe they were concerned that without enough action, people
Yeah,
wouldn't kind of take the hook
yeah,
for the remaining season. Then season 2 or episode 2 comes in, and we see that there's some action pumping in and it's starting to ramp up a little bit. And then we see episode 3 where it's like now it's covert stuff and like things are really starting to ramp up. Shit's
yeah,
getting weird. We see that Sage is basically gonna get down with the deep.
yeah,
Dude, did you see that Tilda Swinton did the voice for the octopus?
yeah, yeah.
That was fucking
Hilarious.
awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that Tilda Swinton's like, yeah, I'll do it.
So funny, dude. Tell Griff there, what was the Flat Earth show you were referencing? What's the name of that animated show?
Oh, Smiling Friends. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
there's
saying.
currently 2 seasons right now. The most recent season that's still airing currently is season 2, and I believe the most recent episode is about like aliens. So it's essentially they uh Charlie gets pulled into a group with Pim to do like some alien watch. They end up getting abducted, and then those aliens get abducted by other aliens, and then like other shit goes on. It's fucking cool. Like I love the show. It's really pushed on a few things which I think are really funny, and it really has a fun time with itself, to be
Who
honest.
makes the
Like
show? It's Adult Swim, right? Same guys
yeah,
that make Rick and Morty and stuff. Yeah.
yep. And if you've never heard of them, the one that I know specifically is his name is Psychic Pebbles, or Zach Adel. That's the voice of Charlie. He actually has a YouTube channel called Psychic Pebbles. You could check him out. You could see like what kind of work he's done in the past. He used to work with people like Oni NG and Spaz Kid in 3D and stuff like that.
Cool.
That's where I originally know those people. And they're, to me, some of the funniest people ever. They have some crude humor here and there. They probably said things that aren't accepted nowadays. But over time they grew, and I think they just really wanted to try to start working on making their own shows. They like originally they wanted to make one called Hellbenders. And I think they pitched it to I can't remember what company it was, but like they were like, hey, we like it, but we need to change a few things, and it turns out it was too many, so like they didn't go forward with it. I loved Hellbenders. Only one episode, It was fine. But
Yeah.
Smiling Friends is a completely new, like it's different. The animation's like wholly different. It makes fun of a lot of things. It definitely makes fun of like the usual shows that you see, like I think it's like Paradise PD and all those like Brickleberry and stuff like that. Like those shows I highly like think are overrated. They're
Mhm.
very much easy to chew on kind of humor, whereas like Smiling Friends, it's just chaotic.
Yeah.
It's downright chaotic, and I love stuff like that.
I
But
do. I
yeah,
gotta
like
check it out. I haven't seen any of it. I gotta check it out.
they're 11-minute episodes too. Like it's very
Nice.
easy to
Fly
ingest.
fly through it.
Yep.
Hell yeah,
So
dude. Hell yeah.
yeah,
What do you think of the son? The son's name again? Ryan. What do you think of his acting in this season?
doing a really good job. It's like he's definitely very timid. He's still timid from the day we met him, which I think is
Yeah.
very befitting. He's really trying to find out like what he truly wants from like from his perspective, like what things are good and what things are bad. He's such a sponge, and it really shows. Like it's hard for him to want to just accept that Homelander is a good person. It is his father, and so he's trying to be like respectful of his father, but at the same time, like after talking with Butcher, like he's kind of getting the notion that maybe not everything that Homelander is saying is like true, which like
Yeah.
fits well. You could tell Homelander is trying his best not to become that abusive father.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's getting harder and harder because the kid's not listening, because the kid grew up in a different way. So like that's I know how that feels. Like it's tough trying to mold something that's already molded.
Yeah.
Um,
Facts.
and so like with Butcher, he's kind of showing compassion, but at the same time, he was willing to drug the kid to like get him away. Um,
Yeah, I think he kind of well, I suppose, when Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character says this at the end, like it's like, we gotta either turn him or we gotta kill him.
right.
Like because this kid is gonna grow up and probably take over the world. Like I love that they're kind of referencing that. They kind of know that that's coming. It's kind of like DC with Injustice and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like these guys are gods. They're gonna turn on us, like, and we're gonna become cattle, basically. So we got to do something to try and stop them.
Right.
And like I love that story. You know what I mean? And I kind of I have the feeling again, I haven't read any of the comic books, and I kind of like that I'm blind on this. It's the same with Invincible. It's like I just don't want to know. I just want to kind of experience it as a TV show. And,
Mhm.
I want to be shocked at the turns and all this sort of stuff. And then when it's all said and done, maybe I'll pick up the graphic novel and read it then, and see where they kind of skewed from the comics or whatever. But right now I'm just loving not really knowing what's gonna happen. Like, for all I know, Homelander could like flip and turn good. Like I kind of felt like that might be happening towards like around the Soldier Boy stories and stuff. I thought, oh Jesus, maybe he's gonna turn and they're gonna have to work with him, and maybe he'll change his tune by the end. But now I'm kind of just like, "Oh, there's only one way this dude's going out, and he's got to die, like, and I think Ryan's probably gonna kill him, like, I'm like, that's kind of like the only way that he's gonna go, and like the fact that he's like, picking all of his gray pubes out and putting them in a jar and stuff, like, he's starting to age, and
Yeah.
it's so good, bro. Like, the development on every character in the show is fantastic as well. Like, my heart bleeds for Butcher. It's like he's kind of realizing now that he's fucked up, and he is a little scared of dying, and but he's trying to make right and leave a bit of a legacy behind him. But like, he's the clock is ticking.
Yep. 6 months.
Starlight, yeah, Starlight story is kind of, it's okay. Again, I'm not crazy on her character. I haven't been for a while. It's not just this season, but I don't know. Maybe she'll do something cool. Like, she kind of seems like she's coming to the forefront of like the Starlighters or whatever the hell they call themselves. So she'll probably make a return to being Starlight again or whatever. Like, Huey's story is actually the Huey's like his dad being in the coma and stuff, and the mother returning. That's the part of the show I like the least, if I'm being honest. I kind of
Really.
just it's just I don't mind that kind of storyline in other things. I just like feel that when you're watching The Boys and it's so crazy and it's so like action packed and high driven and everything like that, and you're watching everybody else's missions in the show, and then it feels like it just ramps way down, and then it's like, okay, we're sitting in a hospital now, and Huey's reconnecting with his long lost mother, who's a bitch, by the way. Fuck her for leaving him. I'm just like, how dare you leave him and all. But I don't know. I just feel like the show is like 100 all the time. It's cranked up to 11, and then it's like boom, we just come straight back down. It just kind of feels like it's kind of messing with the flow of the episodes. Like I think if you were going to start an episode and have Huey in the hospital and you do all that sort of stuff, and then you ramp it up and go in, I just feel like the way that they're kind of cutting back and forth is kind of just like I feel like I'm on a boat and there's waves going. Like it's just like up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So I kind of wish that they would maybe just get that story over with. Like how many more times do we need to see Huey in the hospital? Like that's my only kind of. That's the only thing I'm kind of like. Not that I'm annoyed with it. I still think the show's fantastic, but I'm kind of like, where's this going?
Well, it's definitely going into a path of peace. Like it's Huey kind of like going again into this fray of like learning how to just be okay with things that are going on and just
Yeah,
accept the fact that like there's some things you can't change, and the only thing you can do is just find out why, like
yeah,
why did she leave, and we got a clear answer. And I'm actually like, I feel a lot better about the mother. Like at first I was like, oh, she's just a fucking nutcase. No,
mm,
like she was depressed. She had postpartum depression
yeah.
and she continued
It's
to
a
have
serious deal.
depression. It
It
was a
is a
very
serious
serious
thing.
deal.
Yeah,
And yeah, like, but like it's still one of those moments of like, oh, like why did you leave though?
I just
Because she would have killed herself.
me being a parent myself, I'm just like I could never do it. I know it's not the same thing, but like uh, I would take it personally if it was my own mother who left me and then came back and said, "Look, I was dealing with this, and I was on the verge of committing suicide, and now I'm fine." It's like, okay, so like, would you not come back, like or sooner? Would Am I the reason why you nearly killed yourself? Like, me personally, I would find that hard to swallow. Like, I'm just like your own mother saying that they had to leave because you were the reason that they were potentially going to kill themselves. It's like that's
Well,
fucking that's some
it
real.
wasn't necessarily him. Like it's
I
just
know,
postpartum.
I know, but she said, and obviously the second she left the house and left the family, she got over that because obviously it's 22 years later and she's alive and kicking and well and seems happy. So obviously it was the family that did that. So I would take that personally myself. I can't speak for Huey. Obviously, Huey obviously doesn't give a shit. He doesn't want to know her. But I don't know. I would
Well,
just find that be a hard one to take.
like, but postpartum depression is a weird vice,
Oh
dude.
no, I
Like
know.
it's a
I'm,
weird
I'm
situation. For all we know, like it was just a chemical in her brain that like made her feel like she couldn't do it,
yeah,
no matter how much she tried, and therefore it just felt like she had to give up. She
yeah.
didn't know how to leave otherwise, and so like when she finally was able to leave, she was able to kind of find peace within herself. So it's like, it's that choice, man. Do you really want your mother to stick around until like something horrible happens, or
I
do you
know,
want
I
her to
know,
take off?
I know. I'm just saying I would still take it personally.
Yeah, no, no, no. Like I'm not saying your feelings are valid. I
Yeah.
100% understand that feeling. Like both parties have the same type of feeling toward the situation. They're
Yeah.
not like nothing's invalid. He has every right to be angry. She has every right to explain herself and to help him understand like why she had to do it.
Yeah.
She's back. She's trying. Although she's a bit kooky with the fucking essential oils and shit.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And it's all
it,
Vought shit as well. He's like, "Get that shit
yeah,
out of here."
fuck off. Yeah,
Do you not know what
but
they did? And again, it's like they killed my fucking girlfriend. Like flashback to the first
exactly.
episode, but again, it just shows that she doesn't know shit because she hasn't been around. Just what Griff said in the chat here. Do we think that Butcher might have some sort of parasite running through his head? It looks that way. It looks like there's something living in him. Like it's yeah, it gives me shivers when I think about it. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of hope that they find a way to cure him or something because I don't want him to die. I love him. Like he's like my favorite character in the show. Like I've just always like it's always been a Butcher as the leader and Butcher is like kind of the main character of the show in my eyes. Like and he's just so funny all the time. And like I would hate to go into the last season without him. So I really hope that they somehow find a way to heal him. But if he does
Yeah.
die, it'll be tragic and
It's definitely reached a point where it's I think it's past the point of no return, because if you remember, Homelander like scanned his brain and was like,
oh yeah,
see, I
he's like
see a dark spot like
yeah. Doesn't he say as
growing.
well? He's like, "I could smell it off you as well," or something. I
I
think at
think
one point he
so.
says that. Yeah, I think he says that line as well. I noticed that they in the first 3 episodes there was a lot of references to Homelander's smell, and I'm like, I don't remember them ever like really referencing it as like one of his kind of main powers or whatever. But I found he said like stuff about smelling things like a lot in the first 3 episodes. I'm like, what the fuck? And then, like,
Yeah.
because like he's like when Ryan comes back from when he was with Butcher, he's like, I can smell Butcher off you. Then he smells Huey up in the fucking beds and all. Like, I'm like, okay, they're really trying to sell this smelling power that he has.
Dude,
um,
I love it though. Like it's a good
I
callback.
know
Like
it's
it really
fantastic.
really shows like how, although like we know so much about Homelander already, there's still things that we forget. Like it's like, oh shit, yeah, he could totally do that, which I love. Like I love stuff like that. It's like
I forgot he had
I'm
X-ray vision. I forgot.
really?
Yeah,
Oh dude,
I
I
had
love that he
forgotten.
was staring. Like it looked
You
like
know
he
what?
was starting to stare at the wall, but then he was just using the restroom.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or do you know? I think it was season one. He's like staring at his own portrait on the wall, and this is where I remembered it. But then I realized, then you realize that he's actually using X-ray vision to watch your one like milk herself.
Yep, yep, yep.
Oh man, I love
And
all the references to milk and everything. It's so funny. Like, when he comes in with the two milkshakes for
the
him and Ryan,
milkshakes.
he's like, "Got a milkshake for you, buddy." It's so fucking good, dude. I love it
And
so
then
much.
he ends up getting mad and he just takes it back. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna double fist of two milkshakes. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
I'm gonna be sad the day this show's over, man. It brings me so much joy. Like, I know there's like a lot of dicks in it, as I said, but I can get over it. Like, it's fine. But it's such a fucking great show, and this season is off to such a fantastic start. And I think it's going to end strong, and we're going to go into the last season with almost a perfect show here. And I think they'll hit the landing. It'll go out as one of the fucking best shows ever. Like, it really will. Like, when it's all said and done. And I think it's a smart way to do it as well, because there's so many shows. The Walking Dead, for example. I'm only thinking of Jeffrey Dean Morgan on The Walking Dead. Like, he came into that show when it was on like season 7 or something. And it's like the show should have ended before he even got there. But it's like they just kept it going 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it's like 12. I think they're on season 13 or something now. It's like, let the fucking thing die. Like, it's terrible. And I'm glad that this show isn't going to go down that road, because so many shows do. You get the good showrunners on, the good script writers and everything, and then like by season 4, when the thing starts hitting, it's like autopilot mode. Then everybody moves on to something else, and the hack writers come in to just keep it going and keep the money coming in. I'm very happy that this show's not going to do that. Um, maybe Gen V will go on for a couple of years without it. I know it was meant to be like Boys season 4, Gen V season 2, Boys season 5, and then who knows what after that. But I think after the death of the dude from Gen V, I think they've had to reschedule it and rewrite it, and I think they're doing Boys season 5. Boys will end, and then they'll do Gen V season 2 after. So maybe Gen V will go on for another 5 or 6 seasons. So we'll still be in this universe, but not with the main cast of the show, which is gonna be
Yeah.
sad, bro, because I love it so much.
Yeah. But like, it's that's the danger of like continuing a series is,
Yeah,
like you
quality
only
goes
you
down.
eventually you'll reach a peak and hopefully that's the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's rare that shows get to finish on top. And it's sad when you see great shows go down. Like one I think off the top of my head, Dexter. Dexter, were like for the first 4 seasons, was like one of my favorite shows ever. I arguably think to this day it is still some of the best TV ever. Seasons 1 to 4, absolute fucking genius. 10 out of 10. Love it. And then like season 5, 6, 7, it just steadily got worse, worse, worse. And then season 8, we were just like, oh god, this is terrible. But at least it's over. And then it's like they come back for like a season 9, like a kind of redo or whatever. And it actually wasn't too bad. It was much better than like the last like maybe 3 seasons of the show. But yeah, dude, it was just rough. It was just rough. They should
Yeah.
have just let it go. They should have just let it go. But
Yeah.
they just kept going. They just kept going.
I think one of the shows that I remember sticking the landing was Breaking Bad. I don't think there was ever a
Yeah,
season that like really gave me a problem.
yeah. It's
Can't think of anything.
incredible. Yeah, Breaking Bad will go down as one of the greats of all time. The Sopranos, The Wire, like The Wire. Personally, The Wire for me, season 1 incredible. Season 2 is my least favorite season of the whole show. Season 3 is incredible. Season 4 is kind of a bit shaky, and then season 5 they don't really hit the landing. But the seasons that are good are so fucking good that it kind of elevates the entire show. But it's not one of those shows where it's like every single fucking episode is just fire, fire, fire. For me, The Sopranos is like will go down in history as one of the best shows ever made. Like the show just consistently got better and better each season it went on. I only rewatched it recently with my girlfriend who had never seen it before, and she was watching it for the first time, and I think it had just aged out a little too much, especially the first couple of seasons. And she's like, "Yeah, it's good, but I don't see like how it's like the best show ever made." Like so I just think you had to be there watching it at the time. And like for me, when I rewatched it, I was like, "This is as good as it was like when I first watched it. It's still amazing. It's still incredible."
And it didn't have a single dick.
There was no dicks in that show. Yeah.
No, and therefore it is handed down as the greatest.
No, fuck up. No. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's just yeah, it's incredible. Griff says he's
He-
never watched Breaking Bad. Oh my god, dude.
what's
Crazy.
what's but it sounds like he's watched Saul Goodman, which I've never watched Better Call Saul. Like I need to watch it. I heard it's a fantastic show. So like I definitely want to check it out.
I remember when the show first aired, I was watching season 1 on a weekly basis as it was being released, and it was really slow. And I kind of just said, "Oh, I'm giving up on this. I'm not going to watch it week by week." And that's kind of like the kind of consensus of the show. It's like it's very slow at the start, but then it kind of gets better. Oh, sorry, he's
Oh,
never seen Dexter.
you never
Sorry.
seen Dexter.
Sorry,
Gotcha.
sorry. The chat's a bit delayed or something. I'm mixing shit up. I'm sorry. Dexter, first 4 seasons, some of my favorite TV ever. It's 10 out of 10. If you choose to keep going after season 4, that's your call. But I think you'll get to the end of season 4 and you'll be like, this show is the best thing ever. I have to watch season 5, and then you'll see it just kind of go woo. But maybe you'll stick with it. I don't know.
John Lithgow was one of the coolest fucking villains ever.
Yes. I don't even want to talk about the show, but because if Griff watches it, I don't want to ruin anything for it, but, for him on it. But I know when I started watching it, season 4 had just ended when I picked up the show, and I remember a girl that I worked with was talking about it and mentioned something that happens at the end of season 4, and for some reason I remember saying to her and everything, "Oh, cheers for that! I'm about to start watching the show," and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to say that to you," and then what had happened, it was funny because when I started watching the show, somehow that information left my head. And then I watched it as if I had never heard her what she said. And then after the thing that she said had happened in the show, I was like, oh yeah, she said that. I was like, oh, I completely forgot. So I still got to experience it for the first time. Thank God.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, dude, what a show. First 4 seasons. Chef's kiss. Love it. Absolutely love it. Man, yeah, again, it's as you said at the start of the show, at the start of the boys here, like it's very hard to kind of critique these things, and it's very hard to kind of talk shit about these shows. So I genuinely don't have a lot to say. It's been a roller coaster so far, and it's great, and I love it, and I can't wait for next week's. The Acolyte next week, I can wait for it. I'm gonna watch it obviously, but I'm not counting down the minutes till it airs. Whereas when episode 3 of The Boys ended, when the credits come up, I was just like, no, I was like, I want more, like I was fucking annoyed that it was over. It's like, no, don't, Ed, don't leave me. That's kind of what I felt. So very much looking forward to watching the next episode. Do you know, are they airing on Thursdays, or was it just, because I know they used to release it on Fridays. It was kind of weird that they brought it out on a Thursday. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it actually airs. It's 3 a.m. or 12 a.m. Pacific on Thursdays. So yeah, it's going to be a midnight showing, like for most people on the West Coast, and then
on Thursday. So
yeah.
like Friday morning for me, or Thursday morning for me.
Thursday morning, or no, Friday. Wait, so you're 10 hours ahead, right?
I'm 9 hours ahead, I think, or maybe 8
Yes.
ahead of you.
So I think it'd be like, it should be 6 hours later, so like 9 a.m.
Yeah, so Thursday, basically. They're releasing on a Thursday for some weird reason. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because usually the show used to be on a Friday. Because I used to remember, because I've been watching the show day one since every weekly since day one, and it used to always be me and my missus would finish work on a Friday, and we'd like put the kid to bed, and it was The Boys straight away. Like that was always what we did. Like on a Friday, like get dinner, watch The Boys. It was every Friday, so it's weird that it's on a Thursday now. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. I'd love to know why they did that. Like Friday's such a primo slot for a show like this as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Oh, no, I don't. Again, it really doesn't bother me. What I do on a Thursday as compared to what I do on a Friday is very like there's very little difference in between anyway. So
Yeah.
it's not as if I'm 21 years old and I'm going out drinking on a Friday night with all my friends. It's like shit. I can't watch The Boys till tomorrow because I'm going out with the lads. It's like I do the same shit every day these days anyway. You know what I mean? It's dad life taking over. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter what day of the week it is. Do you have anything else just before? Because we're about to hit 2 hours. So do you have anything else you want to bring up just before we break for the week? Or
Just that if you're an anime watcher or you're eating good, there's One Piece, My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer. There's also a bunch of other shows that I'm not watching currently, but it's all like anime's on a constant. But those are the three that I'm watching. So if you have any questions about that or if you want to chat about it, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to reply. Additionally, tonight, in about I would say 2 hours, is the premiere for House of the Dragon season 2, or is it season 3?
season
Season
two,
2?
two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So House of the Dragon, I'm rewatching the first season as we speak. I just finished episode 6 just before we went live here. Man, I don't know if you did a recap or need a recap, but I didn't think I needed a recap until I started watching it again. I was like, oh my God, I forgot about all of this, because I watched it on the air dates and that was it. I haven't watched it again since. So I'm actually very happy that I'm doing a rewatch of it at the moment because I forgot a lot of details. And the way they usually do like the recap of the season before, I don't think those recaps give enough information. You know what I mean? Especially when there's like, especially in a show like House of the Dragon, when it's, same as Game of Thrones, it's just info dumps after info dumps with every single conversation. And if you don't know the family names and all this sort of stuff, and you can't remember this little tiny reference of this or this little backstab here or there, like you're kind of not really getting the whole picture. So it's one of those shows where, I used to watch Game of Thrones with a friend of mine who I would consider to be much smarter than me. And he, when we used to always watch the show, he'd be like, pause it for a second, pause for a sec. And I'd be like, what? He'd be like, what's going on here? Like I'd have to explain what's going on. I find like that these shows are ones like it's one where you should leave your phone in the other room. Like I think you need to just like it's full blown concentration on the screen the entire time. Like because you miss one line of dialogue, you might miss an entire whole plot that's coming up next, and you don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's a fucking intense watch, and I'm absolutely loving doing a rewatch of season 1 now. I don't know because I've got like 3 or 4 episodes left to watch before the new episode. So I don't know if I'm gonna. I presume we're probably gonna have to finish our rewatch first, and then tip into the new episode. But yeah, I'm living for it, man. I can't wait.
Yep.
That's gonna be epic. I just want to give a shout out as well. I don't know if you've seen this, but the Monarch show on Apple TV, which is like the show based in like the Godzilla and Kong universe.
Mhm.
I just finished season 1 of that show yesterday, and holy shit, bro, it is epic, so good. I don't know if you've seen it or if you have access to it. If you can watch it, fucking check it out, man. I don't know if you're big into the
Oh, well, yeah,
monster verse as they call it.
I'm totally into kaiju. Love them.
Yeah,
I had a fun time with Pacific Rim. I didn't watch Pacific Rim 2, but I heard it wasn't as good. Um, s-
I have never really been into like Godzilla or Kong or any of that shit, but I went to the cinema with a friend of mine a couple of months ago, and he was like really talking up Godzilla, the newest one, the whatever it's called, the new Godzilla versus Kong, New Empire, or whatever it's called. And he's like, man, this movie looks amazing. Can't wait to see it. And all. And he was kind of talking to me about Skull Island and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get into it because I wanna like know the universe and stuff. So I again shout out to my Discord community, but someone gave me a list of like all the movies in the correct like timeline order to watch them in and everything. So I'm kind of going through it in the timeline order of that universe. So like I watched Kong Skull Island first, then I watched the first Godzilla movie, and then I watched Monarch season 1. And the way that Monarch season 1 works is it kind of flashes back, and so there's like a current day which is like 2015, and then it goes back to like 1954, which is like before the events of Kong Skull Island. So you're kind of seeing stories mixing up between Skull Island and the Godzilla attacking San Francisco and stuff. So the way that they kind of entwine those two movies into that TV show as well is just so cool. And I wasn't the biggest fan of those original movies. Again, I'm not a big fan of, like, as I said, I'm not a big fan of Godzilla. I've never really sat down and enjoyed like a Kong movie or anything like that. So for me, it was like watching Skull Island. I was just like, nah, it's okay, it's fine. Story's not great. Like, the action is great. Like that first scene where they're flying in the helicopters and they see Kong, and he starts like tearing the place apart and all. I was like, that's cool. Like it's great and all, but I'm like, nothing's like gripping me with this show. But until I watched Monarch, man, Monarch was fucking great. Like it was just really well made TV in that universe. And like, even it got to a stage. I don't. If you haven't watched the show, I'm not going to ruin it on you. But like, if you do get around to watching it, let me know, because like they do, like the story gets kind of crazy towards the end, and you kind of think to yourself, oh, they're going a bit like bonkers with this, but they pull it off really well. It just works, and it actually has me excited now to watch the next movie. And I'm thinking now, like after I watch the next movie, which I think was released in like 2019, but am I going to enjoy it more now after seeing Monarch? So I'm kind of interested to see, has that show kind of like made me more of a MonsterVerse fan now? I'm fucking excited to watch the next one, and I think they've confirmed Monarch season 2 as well, so that's going to be hype.
Sick.
Yeah, I'm fucking loving it, man. Loving it. They got the claws in me. I'm hooked. I'm hooked.
Yeah. And just wanted to remind everyone, in a couple weeks we're going to see The Bear season 3.
Bro, after we spoke last, right? This is how much I love The Bear. Because we spoke about this in the last podcast, we were talking about The Bear. I went and actually watched every episode of The Bear again. And I'm done already. I've watched it all again already. It's my third time watch. I never do this for shows as well. So if you're on the fence about watching The Bear, I've watched this show now 3 times and I love it even more with every watch I watch. Every watch through, I fall in love with the characters even more. I love Carmi even more. I love Richie even more. It's just, I love them so much. Did you finish it? Because I know the last time we spoke, you were maybe 4 episodes away from finishing it. Did you watch those 4?
Yeah, I finished it.
Richie's redemption, man. Christmas. Oh, they're like some of the best episodes. Like the last 4 episodes of that series are like some of my favorite TV now. Like it's crazy. And like I keep telling my parents won't watch the show because they just hate all the screaming and stuff, and they just don't like some of the characters in the show. And like Richie's one of them that they hate. They're like, well, I can't stand that prick. Like he's just annoying and all. And I'm just like, please just keep watching the show. And they're just like, no, we can't. And I was like, fuck you. I'm going to tell you what happens. So I told them what happens in the Forks episode. And they were like, oh, maybe we'll go in. I'm like, you have to watch this. Like, it is one of the best episodes. Forks is one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing television. And even the Christmas episode, I loved it so much because you're sitting there going like, oh my God, like all the cameos. And you're like, how did they get him in it? How did they get her in it? And you're just like, oh my God. And it's just so it's so intense. And I'm very thankful that I didn't grow up in a household like that. My family all get on. There's never any drama in my family at all. Like very, very rare that there would ever be drama in my family. Like, so when we all come together for Christmas, it is just a really nice day. We all kind of, we share presents with each other and we all have a laugh. There might be some drinks flowing and we all have an amazing dinner, and that's it. Christmas is over, but like when you see into the chaotic household and families that are just like at each other's throats every day of the year, and then you see how hard something like Christmas is, like it's mind-blowing to watch. I know there's like I know people that live that life where it's just like, oh man, like I'm not looking forward to Christmas, my family are just going to kill each other, and it's just like I'm very thankful I don't have that. But to get to watch it and see how it was done so well, and you can just tell the people who wrote that show, like that's their Christmas. Like there's no way that you could make something so perfect without living that yourself. It's just you'd have to. Jamie Lee Curtis was incredible in the show. Griff said in the thing, it's just, she's such a phenomenal actress, and like how she just portrayed that character of the mother, like it's just, like she's shaking and like, she's just so on edge and everything, and like smoking the cigarettes in the kitchen and all, like you just believe it, like you believe that that's actually her. Like I don't, and like again, Jamie Lee Curtis is such a well-known actress that she plays that part so well that I don't even think about Jamie Lee Curtis at all.
No,
like,
you like
again,
see the mother and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, she is Carmi's mother. Like that's all I see. Like when obviously when she first turned around in the kitchen, I was like, holy shit, they got Jamie Lee Curtis. Because I
Yeah.
remember I was watching it day one, so that was never spoiled for me or anything. So I remember seeing it. I was like, holy shit, they got Jamie Lee Curtis. I was like, what the fuck, So like, but then after that initial shock, I never thought of her as Jamie Lee Curtis again. That's how good she is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and dude, like my heart was breaking for Pete, dude. Like that was the hardest
yeah,
thing. That was
yeah,
the hardest fucking scene.
yeah.
Like during the finale, like
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know
just
what to
the
do. Like, just come in, just come in. And all, like, it's like,
just
just
like
yeah,
he's like, I don't understand. Just come, like
yeah,
it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be
yeah,
fine. And she's like, no,
drag
no,
her in.
just let me go.
Yeah, fucked up, man. I would have dragged her in. I would be like, you're
Yeah.
gonna come
Well,
in.
because
I said, you're coming in. This is your son's restaurant opening and your daughter. You're gonna come in. You can sit in the back. You can sit behind the bar. You can go whatever you want, but just sit there. Let them see you, and then go. Like, I just, I would drag her in. Like, I'm sorry, I would. I'd be like,
but
you're gonna sit there for 5. You might not have to eat anything. That's fine,
yeah,
but sit down and fucking just acknowledge your children. Like, you know what I mean?
I think she just I think she just understood her ego would have gotten the best of her,
Yeah,
and she might have done something horrible.
yeah. Like,
Um,
I'd picture her like kicking in the door into the kitchen and start trying to cook it all.
yeah, like she might have like
Yeah,
run in and been like, this motherfucker is not taking care of things. Like, I can help. Just
yeah,
let me do it. And then it turns into that whole situation of like I do everything. But the idea behind the ending is the fact that like Carmi, although he's locked in the fridge, he still believes that he's the only one doing everything.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, he
And
thinks he thinks opening night is a failure because he's like, I'm so sorry, I've ruined everything. It's like the restaurant's going on perfectly without you. It's kind of a sad thing as well because it's like, it is his baby, but at the same time, it's like you've trained these guys up so well now that it's like he doesn't really have a
it,
place now nearly in the
well,
kitchen. Like the whole place is operating without him.
well, he's like he should be the master chef. He should just
Yeah,
be there to make sure that all the food is like perfectly done and
yeah,
well kept. And I think that's where he felt like he failed.
yeah.
And
He's so used to
it's
just doing everything.
right. It's the story that Uncle told him was like just sometimes you just really fuck up, and
Yeah.
it's horrible. But like what can you do?
I know I say it every time I watch it, but I think he can fix the relationship with Claire. I think he can get her back.
Oh yeah, I think we're gonna maybe see some redemption for that because like
Yeah,
it wasn't really anybody's fault that she caught wind of it. It was just they were trying to make sure that she doesn't go into the kitchen so that she doesn't see that
yeah,
he's like distressed, but like not telling her anything and not giving her a chance to at least talk to him and help him like chill out. Like I think that's what really like drove it down into the
yeah, yeah,
ground.
yeah.
And him blaming Richie, like I know why he blames Richie because he thinks that like Richie, you're still a fuck up kind of situation. And
You're a
when
sponge and everything. Yeah,
right, and like but like I love that when he called him mom, I was like, oh shit, it's on. It's
yeah,
fucking
yeah. Yeah.
on.
That's proper brothers like kicking the shit out of each other, sort of stuff. Like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, oh, dude, it's incredible television. Like, it really is. I cannot wait for season 3. It's going to be mind blowing.
Yeah. And my girlfriend had said too, she's like, if we had watched this and I didn't know whether or not the next season was going to come out, I would have been pissed. And I'm like,
Yeah,
well, I'm glad that we finished it pretty close to when it's premiering on
that
the
was
next
me,
season.
bro. That was me last like when it just ended. I was like, oh my god, is it coming back? And if so, when? I've been waiting since the day season 2 ended for it to come back. Like, and that's one of the problems when you watch this stuff live. You're kind of just like, fuck, now I have to wait for them to go and do movies and then, develop and actually shoot the next season and edit it. And, you're sitting there for a year at best. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like it's a year at best. So yeah, it kind of creeped up on me though, and I don't know if that's just I'm having the quickest year of my life, but it did really creep up. I find that I feel like I didn't watch season 2 that long ago, and it's like holy shit, like because I think I heard that it was coming out at the end of the month, like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, oh shit, that's coming up already. I was like, wow, okay, that's great. So yeah, I don't feel like I suffered that much because life's just so busy at the moment, but
Well,
it is rough,
and,
man.
and I love that Neil Fact, which is Maddie,
Yeah,
the big handyman dude. He was
that's it.
actually a cook for like 20 years.
Yeah, he's a legend, man. I sent you one of his videos on TikTok. Did you see it?
Yeah.
he's got a good channel. Like he's cooking shit up and he's a cool dude. He's actually down. I noticed only in my last rewatch, but like he's down as like a um. He's got like an executive producer credit and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like, and I think he's got an actual producer credit on quite a lot of it. So he's definitely involved in the creation of the show for sure. Like, you know, he's definitely
Yep.
putting in his real kitchen experience into the show. So, and the
And
fact
it
that he,
shows.
yeah, it does 100%. Like, again, I've never worked in a kitchen before. After watching the show, I feel like I have worked in a kitchen. That's how real it is, you know?
It,
Like, it's crazy.
I was never a cook, but I used to work down in the cafeteria area of a hospital.
Hmm.
And even if it's a hospital, it's still the same kind of situation. Just your cooks are stressing out about shit, things that are coming out, like having to serve people because there's like tons of people to serve within the hospital. And the cafe isn't like a healthy cafe either. It was like serving all kinds of shit. And
Yeah.
but like it still mattered. Like they still wanted to make sure that the people that they were serving were gonna get like good quality food. And it's crazy. People stress the fuck out. Like even if you're a cook in a hospital, it's stressful as fuck.
Yeah, dude. Sure. I was out today for dinner. Father's Day today. Happy Father's Day to any fathers in the chat.
Oh yeah, you're a dad.
I am indeed. But we brought my parents out for dinner as a kind of thank you because they do childcare for my daughter and stuff. So, um, we brought my dad out. But again, I don't really think of it as Father's Day for me yet. It's kind of weird. Like I kind of feel like a new dad. Like even though I've had a stepson for like 6 years or more, 8 years, but I've never really thought of like I've never really celebrated Father's Day myself. But technically, I am one. But we went to this restaurant, like an Italian place, and it was just I never really go out on Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day. I try to stay away from restaurants because I just know they're going to be fucking crazy. Everyone out doing the same thing. But I just thought we thought it'd be a nice thing for my parents if we bought them dinner today. So we ended up booking an Italian place like last week, got a table, went in, and it was just fucking chaos in the restaurant. And again, I sit down, and one of the first things I think to myself is, I'd love to be in the kitchen right now. I'd love to see how crazy it is, And like that's just from watching The Bear, really, like and like watching MasterChef and shit. Like again, as I say, I've never worked in the kitchen, but it's I just feel like I have now. I feel like I know what the kitchen is like, and that's how good this show is. That I sat down in a restaurant today, going, "Oh, I'd say the kitchen are busy today. I wonder are they like is it backed up because there's so many orders coming in and all this stuff." Like I'm genuinely talking as if I'm on the line myself. Like uh, what a show, bro! What a show. Yeah, look, I think we should leave it there for the week. I gotta go to bed. It's fucking nearly
Yeah, we're already getting pretty deep in here.
yeah. We're live over 2 hours as well. So, guys, I appreciate everybody hanging out. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple or anything like that, like leave a review. If you're watching this on a replay, leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think of all the shit that we talked about tonight, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye bye.